Yo, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to be analyzing a $1,000 Pokemon money match with Ludwig versus Fuslie. And if you don't know, they were both competitors in the Point Crow and Peach Out Nuzlocke Invitational, where both of them completed a randomizer Nuzlocke, and the team they brought to that Elite Four and completed it with was the team that they would bring to the tournament. Now, both of these players did finish pretty respective, with Ludwig finishing in the 4th place, as well as Fuslie finishing 3rd place at the tournament. And they decided, hey, why not run this matchup? And I'll put $1,000 on the line, or 200 gifted subs. And yeah, we have this match here today. And yeah, they didn't actually play in the tournament, so this is going to be a fresh matchup concept. And if you don't know, I did end up being involved a bit. We did have a DRXX who was the coach to Ludwig. There are actually coaches assigned to each of the players for the tournament. DRXX is a good buddy of mine. He asked me to help out a bit with crafting the team, as well as a few matchups, so was involved there. And yeah, I did actually end up practicing with Ludwig for a bit as his practice partner. We did an hour of battles. Yeah, we did not go over the Fuslie matchup because the Fuslie matchup's interesting. We'll get into it a bit. But overall, this matchup is super strange, where you need quite a few things set up properly in order to actually win this, because she has quite a few defensive options that are kind of hard to break through if you're Ludwig. Like, you can't exactly one-shot a lot of these mons easily, especially with like how it is constructed on Fuslie's team. So yeah, it's going to be interesting analyzing a money match. The last time I've seen a VGC money match for $1,000, it did not go well for one of my buddies. For any of you old-time classic VGC viewers, you might know this money match that I have on the screen right now. But yeah, that was the last time I've seen $1,000. And let me just say, for anyone who has thought about money matching Pokemon, I wouldn't really recommend it. I don't care if you're one of the most skilled players in the world. Let me just say, Pokemon is one of the most volatile games, and it truly is a game where anyone can beat anyone. So not the greatest. But what's actually interesting about this kind of scenario is because that since this is not like during the tournament itself, we can actually analyze file process. We'll be going over Ludwig's file process because I think it's the one I'm going to be more familiar with as someone who has A, practiced with him, and B, knows more of the line from Ludwig's side, because I did help DRXX a bit with this one. But yeah, so we'll be going over Ludwig's file process throughout, and again, I will be criticizing from both players' perspective, but I do want to make a note for this video, is that this video isn't supposed to be some condescending, egotistical view of like each of the players and their moves. Like, obviously there are going to be mistakes. They don't really play too much Pokemon. In Ludwig's case, he might have played more Pokemon in general than Fuslie has, but really they don't have much compared Pokemon experience at all. It takes a while to learn a lot of mechanics in general. And yeah, they're using very complicated teams, which were crafted by their coaches. So yeah, it is definitely not something you should expect, like, oh, this is going to be super high level gameplay. There are definitely going to be mistakes. It's really hard to learn Pokemon in such a short amount of time, and usually takes several months to years in order to learn about the game in general and how to actually like navigate through all of these different situations. So that's what we're here for. We're going to be giving in-depth detail about like the specifics here, about like, okay, why is this play objectively good, why is this play objectively bad, this alternate scenarios, and like what the board state is, the different scenarios that could happen. We're going to be going over all of that. That is the purpose of this video, and should be pretty interesting because we actually get to hear Ludwig's file process for the first time. If you don't know, I've been doing an analysis of all the matches from the Nuzlocke Invitational, so if you're interested in that, make sure you go check it out. And yeah, I go over both sides here. I'm going to be focusing on Ludwig, but if for some reason, if any of the competitors or any big content creators do want help with VGC and they're interested in it, feel free to hit me up. I will really provide free coaching and support for you, because literally at the end of the day, the more people that see VGC, that's a joy to me, because I love people exploring this game. I think it's something really magical. Again, it's something unique with the imperfect knowledge game that has the poker and chess like elements. There's so much uniqueness to this game that just keeps me coming back, even though it does have its flaws. I do really love I love seeing when people do enjoy competitive Pokemon, and all I ask in response is that if you do enjoy competitive Pokemon, that you just share with your audience. That's all I would ask for. So yeah, we'll be going over the matchup. I should probably pull up the teams real quick before we get into it, because we should go over Ludwig's team and Fuslie's team, so we could actually talk about the matchup. I'll also talk about the notes real quick, and then we'll actually get into reacting to the actual match through Ludwig's file process and we'll see like where the logic goes. All right, gonna be turning off my camera real quick to quickly go over Fuslie's team. I'm not gonna go super in depth because you could watch my reactions, because I have reactions on both Fuslie's team as well as Ludwig's team before. I've already analyzed their matches before, but again, this is a randomizer that they completed. The stats of the Pokemon as well as the typings are the same, but the abilities and the moves are completely randomized. So we have this Choice Band Hippowdon, which is super strong with the strong spread move Precipice Blaze, which can do a ton of damage. The Shadow Shield Lucario with the Sacred Sword and the Tailwind support alongside good coverage in Thunder and Moongeist Beam with that Expert Belt. Shadow Shield, of course, having the damage from any attacks that Lucario takes while at full HP. Lunala's signature ability. Follow Me Redirection Bronzong is incredible with Aurora Veil that could be set up basically a reflect and light screen in one, with that snow warning from the not Bronzong but Dragonite. They messed up the graphic here. And access to Pollen Puff to heal its allies. Yeah, it could be an annoying Pokemon to remove, especially Harvest, giving a 50% chance to get another Citrus Berry if the Bronzong has consumed it. Then we have the Snow Warning Dragonite with the really bulky Assault Vest set with pretty good coverage. Spread Glacial Lance, Drill Peck, and Dragon Hammer for same type attack bonuses, and Extreme Speed for priority. The Intrepid Sword Kingdra, which will give it a +1 attack boost once per game with Dragon Darts, Surging Strikes. Pretty strong coverage across the board, and having Detect, one of the few protect moves in the tournament in general, should be pretty strong here. Focus Sash makes it survive one really strong hit. And then this Azumarill, which is interesting because it has that Spore alongside Quiver Dance support, and then Draining Kiss for recovery and Steam Eruption as the powerful water type move. That's going to be Fuslie's team. It is a very, very bulky, tanky team with a lot of defensive options, some speed control with the Tailwind, but otherwise some pretty slow mons otherwise. Then let's go over Ludwig's team, which I should mention the coaches, which Flygon HG was the coach of Fuslie and DRXX was the coach of Ludwig. And yeah, I did help construct Ludwig's team with the help of DRXX and a few others in his group. So yeah, let's go over the concept real quick. It's mainly a hard Trick Room team. You have a Trick Room Primarina, which is really powerful. The Grim Neigh boost, which means whenever you get a KO with Primarina, it gets a special attack ray, so it can be a really effective Trick Room sweeper. You also have a really great defensive typing in Water and Fairy, which is great offensively and defensively for this tournament with how like the mods are structured with a bunch of dragon types in general. Then you have this room service Chandelure, which the idea here is the Chandelure is faster than the Primarina outside of Trick Room, and then under Trick Room, that room service will activate -1 speed on the Chandelure. Then you outspeed your Primarina in Trick Room, you go for the Decorate, and you get a +2 special attack in order to increase its damage output. Also has some really strong attacks like the Moongeist Beam, which is Lunala's signature move, a Tri-Attack powered up by the Pixelate, which makes it a Fairy type move, and Heat Wave. You also have the Altaria that can help set up the Primarina, get Trick Room up with the Fake Out Follow Me support, with the Draco Meteor and Wide Guard, which is going to be a very powerful support option to allow this Primarina, which is a pretty bulky Pokemon generally, just to be able to tank attacks and set up that Trick Room or get really strong hits off, with that Chesto for the sleep moves like that Spore from Azumarill. Rhyperior is a Pokemon he has won a tournament before with the Trick Room as well, with Earthquake, High Horsepower, Stone Edge, and Low Kick. It's a pretty standard Rhyperior that's able to really dish out a ton of damage. And then you have this Darkrai and Dragonite mode. So the Darkrai, one of the best answers to Dragapult, Bronzong, Metagross in the tournament. It gives a fast mode, so the team isn't exactly one-dimensional. You have the Dark Pulse, Electroweb, and Pollen Puff, which are super disruptive alongside Encore, and it can definitely be very annoying to remove, especially because of the Electroweb speed drops for allowing the other Pokemon to outspeed, the Pollen Puff recovery, and it does some pretty good damage. And that Dry Skin, which heals off water type moves, and the Electric Seed boost with the Electric Terrain summoned by this Dragonite can be pretty difficult, especially with Breaking Swipe, which is an incredible Dragon type move that is spread. It hits both your opponent's Pokemon, and it does lower their attack. It hits pretty hard actually. It's a pretty decent attack off Dragonite's high attack stat, alongside the Taunt, which is able to get rid of the ability to use any non-attacking moves. So for instance, that Bronzong is going to be important. The Dynamax Cannon, strong saber type attack bonus, Pollen Puff for the recovery. A lot of this is mainly setting up for a Primarina sweep, but there are some cases where you'll play more passive like the Darkrai Dragonite mode. But yeah, let's get into the matchup. All right, so for the matchup, these are the notes that I wrote for it. I had like matchup notes about every single theoretical possible matchup from this tournament. And yeah, we have Ludwig versus Fuslie. The general overview I gave of this matchup would be a strange one, probably in Ludwig's favor, but there are a few interesting pieces that Fuslie has in the Azumarill, which is hard for Ludwig to damage because it's a bulky water. Ludwig doesn't have the best ways to remove bulky waters. Rhyperior can do a lot of damage to Azumarill, but it's kind of awkward because it's hard to position it correctly. And the Dragonite with Assault Vest can do some big damage to Ludwig's team. For Ludwig, I say to win con, if he can get knockouts quickly, that's ideal. Make sure the Azumarill doesn't get out of control. If he can isolate the Azumarill, he can force it into an endless Quiver Dance cycle loop, which is pretty important, especially with that Encore Darkrai. And then for Fuslie's win con, Fuslie needs to make sure she trades damage well, since the Chandelure and the Primarina are very threatening to her team, especially with the Decorate option. She does have the Azumarill that can be set up or can deter Ludwig from going for Trick Room thanks to Spore Pressure, because the speed order of it is like Primarina is a faster one, Rhyperior is faster than the Azumarill on Fuslie's side, because I think Fuslie's Azumarill is like min speed and then Azumarill is the slowest thing. So in Trick Room, Azumarill would be actually faster than both the Rhyperior and the Primarina. So if you do that, obviously Rhyperior is threatened by the water type move and it's Game Blown back, and the Azumarill can threaten the Spore. It gets awkward though because the Azumarill does a Quiver Dance, so if a Quiver Dance is up, then the Trick Room is more ideal, but you also still have to play around Spore if the Electric Train's not brought. So yeah, it's definitely kind of a tricky scenario, but definitely winnable. But yeah, Sacred Sword Lucario bypasses the defense on Darkrai if brought, so it could be a way to break through one of the faster pieces on Ludwig's team, but has to watch out for Electric or Electro Web combos, because you do have Electro Web in a Breaking Swipe with the Dragonite, and I think that's super effective because what's a good property about Sacred Sword, it ignores the defense boost that the Darkrai gets from the Electric Seed and actually just one-shots the Darkrai because of the Extra Bell and Lucario. So you need a Breaking Swipe if you're Ludwig to hang on from the Sacred Sword, but you still take a ton of damage across the board. So it's a bit complicated. There's like a few different ways that could be played out from each player's side. I'd say if you're Ludwig, you don't have to bring Rhyperior. Rhyperior is nice. I think Chandelure, Primarina are actually pretty good, and Darkrai, Dragonite I would say is probably ideal. Like you could bring the Rhyperior and it can definitely be positioned. It's just very awkward when Fuslie does have double waters, so it can be tough because the waters could be a little bit tough to break through. On Fuslie's side, it's kind of tricky because again, there's like a lot that you could do here. The Dragonite's pretty good here, I'd say. The Lucario definitely should be brought always. I think Azumarill, you kind of need that pressure. And the last mon, I don't think you need Bronzong unless you really want redirection. I don't think it's necessary though. A Kingdra is pretty powerful, I think, because of the Dragon Darts as well as like the Surging Strikes that does a good amount of damage. The only problem is it's a bit weak to the Darkrai potentially and the Primarina combo, so it can be awkward there, but it's like good into like Chandelure, the Rhyperior, it's good into the Altaria, and of course can hit the Dragonite hard, so it's not a bad option. But yeah, Hippowdon could also be pretty solid because Precipice Blades a little bit, but I do think that Ludwig probably brings the Dragonite for the most part. And Hippowdon is threatened by like pretty powerful attacks across the board, so something that you do have to watch out for, and Dragonite probably being brought. So yeah, like there's a lot that could be done from both player sides. Again, we're going to be analyzing from the points of Ludwig. Going to put on my headphones and going to start analyzing the match.
Okay, so I think she's going to start Bronzong. I mean, to be honest, I think she's going to start Bronzong. If she starts Bronzong and Lucario, isn't there a fucking ripe call I can make to start Rhyperior and Altaria in Earthquake?
Okay, so I normally on my videos, I don't obviously use like the unfriendly language, especially for monetization. This is a kid-friendly channel. However, yeah, like I wouldn't say Bronzong leads here, mainly because your modes you generally would lead kind of threaten Bronzong, so it doesn't do much. Like Bronzong would be a good lead if you didn't have like several tools that threaten it, like Darkrai, Chandelure, and Rhyperior, which can all bypass its redirection of Heat Wave, Earthquake, and then just Dark Pulse is putting a lot of pressure. I don't really say Bronzong's a good lead. If she brings it, it's probably more favorable to you, so I don't think you should really fear a Bronzong lead. But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Altaria Rhyperior lead. I guess like maybe it could work in this case because you can redirect the water type moves, but Rhyperior outside of Trick Room is just so hard to manage because it doesn't really, like, you could get overwhelmed very quickly just because of the lack of speed, right? So you really have to, you might allow Fuslie to win the damage trade, and it might be harder to set up Trick Room for you if you're put in an awkward spot, right? So we'll see how it goes.
And then have Primarina and Darkrai in the back. This could be kind of sweaty.
I don't know. I still think that Darkrai back is kind of weird. I think you would like, it's probably okay, but ideally you want to have good answers in general. Like Electro is good with Primarina, like it is pretty good. Like I think you do want Darkrai in general in this matchup because you want to make sure that Azumarill can get Encore, for example, but not bringing the Dragonite just makes this matchup so sus, because if the Azumarill gets out of control, it gets really bad for Ludwig. So I don't think this has the best Azumarill damage control. It might work, but I think if Fuslie finds an angle to set up Azumarill, it's pretty rough.
I think this is a kind of a fire play. I have a logic train here. It's that
okay,
if I am right, actually, can you fucking, is Bronzong floating?
Normally yes, but this is a randomizer, so it doesn't have levitate.
Yeah.
Hello?
No, what? What's up? What's up?
I thought I picked my 4.
You didn't.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look. Lucario and Azumarill.
There's no way this is your start.
I can't lie, I'm also the same, Fuslie. I'm also the same. This is actually like an okay position for Lud though. Sacred Sword shouldn't knock out Rhyperior. You get a free fake out into an Earthquake, and then you can dress an Earthquake again, so that could be nice. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I'm a little bit concerned about how much damage you take across the board because the Azumarill is still threatening. There could be like Tailwind, Quiver into like Draining Kiss recovery. I don't know how much that would do to Altaria. Maybe not like too much to be concerned about. I do think Fuslie's probably on the back foot. If she has the Dragonite, she could switch into it and probably be in a good spot to put on pressure. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. I think like there is going to be Follow Me or Fake Out coming out. So I guess if you have Fuslie, like if you're Fuslie, you probably want to go Dragonite for the Azumarill. But yeah, because you don't want Azumarill to take too much damage. It is like your main concept here of winning this game.
So she does have Steam Eruption. She also has Spore. I think I'm fine to Follow Me Earthquake, get a kill on Lucario.
That works. Either Fake Out or Follow Me. Follow Me is safe because Sacred Sword and Steam Engine is fine.
I think it's probably worth to Fake Out the Azumarill instead of Follow Me.
Yeah, like that's a fair play. Like this is legitimately
She's probably
fair.
gonna go for, I would imagine, a Steam Eruption. Maybe she could go for a Spore. And then maybe, I mean, I think the best play would be going for a Tailwind, but maybe she tries a Sacred Sword.
I think if I was her, I'd probably just try to Sacred Sword, go Dragonite, if she has Dragonite back. Because I think Dragonite just switches in on the easy Earthquake that's pretty scripted, and you threaten heavy damage to Rhyperior if Lud does make the Fake Out play and gets greedy, while the Sacred Sword just puts on so much pressure to Rhyperior, right? Okay.
Okay.
All right, she goes for a Thunder,
Whoa.
which I actually unlucky. The Paralyze is unlucky.
Earthquake.
The Paralyze is genuinely unlucky.
Why did I flinch?
There's a move called Fake Out.
But I thought I already never mind. Okay.
Okay, I'm guessing like either she really wanted to stay in or she doesn't have Dragonite in the back, because otherwise like you should always go Dragonite there unless you're really worried about Stone Edge. But like I don't think Ludwig has a incentive to go for Earthquake in that position or go for Stone Edge in that position. It doesn't KO Azumarill unless it gets a crit, so it's not worth it. In general, like, I mean, that ended up working out really well for Ludwig. I mean, the paralysis does stink on Altaria. It could come down to literally just does Altaria get paralyzed? You could play around it though. You could go Primarina for the Rhyperior slot this turn, and you could go for like, I think Draco Meteor couldn't knock out the Lucario in that position, which I think is fine. The Azumarill's heavy weakened, which is really good start because Azumarill is one of the most annoying Pokemon, especially since you didn't bring the electric terrain. So it might be 100% worth it. Or you could just Follow Me in case you are worried about a Spore and a Rhyperior.
Okay, very good.
I'm gonna go for. I think I just go for Earthquake. Follow Me. The only issue here is if Paralysis stops it. If it doesn't stop it, Like, what does she go for even,
Can we
right?
start?
Team eruption.
No, it's a best of 3 though.
I have a new plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, that's, you can bring it to game 2, but you might win this game. That's not over.
Yeah.
Just lock in, twin.
Let me look at my notes now.
So I think a follow me earthquake is just like kind of free here.
It's kinda at the same time you are risking the paralysis, and the paralysis here is not great. Granted, it doesn't put you in a losing spot, I suppose, because you still have Prim around. It just loses a resource for no reason. But I guess Darkrai isn't necessary to win the game if you have already weakened the Azu. I'm just worried about Azu getting a lot of recovery throughout leftovers healing, and Tailwind Spore potentially threat the next turn.
Oh, I like the dragon.
Okay.
Oh, I like the Dragonite switch. I think it's a good switch. Okay, Azumarill's out. She brought in Boomy.
She did have the Dragonite, and yeah, the Earthquake was good here. Like, if Fuslie got the Tailwind and Altaria got paralyzed and went for Steamer Rush, it would have been bad. But like, this is a really strong start for Ludwig. Like, you get rid of Azumarill, that's a Sporemon. Fuslie doesn't have really anything that punishes the Primarina for the most part, and might have to rely on like full paralysis on Altaria to get back into this game, because if you can deny Trick Room, it's great, but it's like really hard for her to deny Trick Room. She might need a bit of luck at this point, but like Ludwig did, getting rid of Azumarill, getting Shao Shield broken on Lucario, it's a really good start for him. Wrong song.
I mean, I think what she's doing is really weird right now.
Yeah, back Bronzong is kind of interesting. I don't think you need Bronzong in this matchup, but it can be used, I suppose. No Kingdra, which means you don't have to worry about Surging or Dragon Darts here. Glacial Lance is threatening both. You could go for Wide Guard here, but it's not going to KO Rhyperior. You get a free attack off, whether it's Stone Edge or High Horsepower. Like, you're in a pretty confident spot. You could really just stay in an attack.
Because now I can just 100% High Horsepower Brawny and then just click Follow Me again. It's like, what the fuck is she going to do?
Yeah. You don't even have to High Horsepower.
Die to Boomy, but I think that's okay. I mean, I could swap out maybe.
I think if you just Wide Guard, like, what's the worst she can do? Dragon Hammer, which is fine. I think you just don't want to take a Glacial Lance with both Pokemon, because it would actually do decent damage to Rhyperior and put it in range of like the Sacred Sword.
Is there an argument for swapping? He's gonna use Dragon.
You could swap, but I think you want to keep your momentum, because if she gets a Roar Veil up, she can actually reduce the damage. Pollen Puff heal. It's not that great.
I think it's fine. Oh,
Yeah.
Glacial Lance. I should use Wide Guard. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. Okay, I didn't kill there.
No harvest from Fuslie. I mean, I think Glacial Lance puts on the pressure. Altaria can't do much, and like, you get the Veil up at the worst case, even if like there isn't. So I think it's a fair play from Fuslie's end. And yeah, like, I think she's just really tough, because I think like the big mistake was just not switching out and saving the Azumarill HP. If you're Fuslie side, you need the HP on Azumarill. Otherwise, like, it's just really tough, because at this point she just has Silver Mons. There's an Encore Darkrai and a Primarina that's super threatening in the back, and she can't really do much to him. So like, it's winnable for Fuslie, but you need to get a lot of calls right, and you probably have to get lucky at this point, because Darkrai comes in because you didn't get a harvest. You get to go for Dark Pulse. You can go for Stone Edge into the Dragonite, and looking pretty rough.
I mean, this is pretty easy here. I think this is as simple. I think I just Stone Edge here. And I Dark Pulse here, and I just kill both.
Yep.
Dark Pulse easily kills Bronzong. And I don't think I die to another Glacial Lance. I don't think, right? A Glacial Lance did 38%. I don't even know if a crit kills. I guess it probably does.
Yeah, like, the only other play you could maybe make if you want to is just go Primarina to take the Glacial Lance, or Stone Edge, but I think Stone Edge is fine. Even Premier in the health is
Yeah,
pretty nice
I think
for
a crit probably
Lucario.
kills. It might even be worth doing it this turn, but I'll swap.
Okay,
I mean,
start.
I could just. It might even be worth doing it this turn, but I'll wait. All right, so Bronzong dies. Dragon Hammer on Darkrai. It's a choice. Okay, that's. This is so fucking annoying.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's how it goes. I still think it's still a pretty decent spot.
All right, Lucario's back out. I think I go for a Stone Edge on Dragon. I can't speak. Fuck. Lucario.
Easily, if the Stone Edge hits the Dragonite, it's probably game over at that point because you get a lot of damage into the Dragonite. You can set up a very nice endgame situation, but I don't think this is awful. Yeah, I don't think this would be awful. You have a few different options that you can go for. Sacred Sword's going to come out in Rhyperior. There's like a few different plays that you can make here, but I mean, they're all a little bit strange. If you want to read the Dragon Hammer, you can go out into Primarina as well, sack the Rhyperior, bring out Darkrai. You can go for like Encore into Lucario, and that would probably be really good. Although Drill Peck would do a lot of damage, so maybe you do want to go on the offense. I think you need 2 Electabuzz for the Lucario to underspeed the Primarina, so a Sacred Sword here and a Dragon Hammer here would be awkward. So I don't know if you have a guaranteed spot here. You could go for like Pollen Puff, I think, into Rhyperior. But if Lucario goes down to Electroweb, which you could go for, if you go for Electroweb, lower the speed on both, while also, because I think this Dragonite's pretty slow, if I'm not mistaken. Primarina should outspeed afterward, and then I think Electroweb into Rocky Helmet Chip, if she targets the Rhyperior, does get the Lucario. So I think that would probably be your best play. You could also Dark Pulse the Lucario if you want to be super safe on it, but I think Electroweb is probably better.
It's not the greatest one to run into. Maybe I just Electroweb? Or maybe I swap. Swap into Primarina. I mean, I do have a free swap into Primarina. But my Darkrai will die.
I think just losing momentum is kind of annoying. And since you have the Rocky Helmet insurance on Rhyperior, I think it's just better to go for the KO into Lucario guaranteed, because that's the only really big annoying thing with Thunder. There might be some crits involved that the Dragonite can get in the endgame, but I think it is your best result to probably just focus down and get rid of Lucario this turn regardless.
So I think I can't swap. I don't think I have the tempo to swap. I think I Electroweb stay in.
I'm not the biggest fan of Stone Edge into Dragonite here because I think the Lucario is the #1 threat. Even though like you could go off Thunder Misses, I don't really love the idea of having to deal with Paralysis Chance and crit with the Expert Belt, so we'll see. Because like if Lucario for some reason goes for Sacred Sword or Tailwind and then Dragonite goes for Glacial, it's actually kind of weird if like Stone Edge misses again, for example.
Electroweb's just so weak.
Ooh, almost 3 years.
Oh, fuck. That's really bad.
Yeah, that's fine. You get rid of Lucario.
Okay, the Assault Vest kills, which is nice. Fuck, I actually fucking threw this shit, didn't I? It's a one.
It's a Roar on Assault Vest, but you should guarantee 2-shot it because there's no EVs in this. So I'm pretty sure 2 Moonblast will definitely get the KO. I think the only thing is Fuslie does have Drill Peck, 2 Drill Pecks to crit.
V1 against Primarina. Do I win that?
You should, as long as there's no
It's
crit.
actually tough to say. Maybe I should have swapped. It would have been smart. Wait, I kill easily. Why am I freaking out? I'm doing a fucking fairy move into a dragon type.
Well, it's Assault Vest and
blows her
Aurora
the fuck
Veil.
up.
It'll do good damage. It won't KO
I'm
though.
slower for sure still, but
Yep.
like what the fuck's she gonna do? Bro, click the button, GG.
Oh,
Yep.
right.
Oh my god, you lived. Oh my god.
Yeah, she
I have Aurora Veil.
actually needed to crit. Actually, no, yeah, you were fine. Even because you're faster. Moonblast, 2 shots. And even if, let's say, she crit the first drill peck, right? It did 50%. So crit would be 75. Citrus Berry heals back. I don't think it's in range of extreme speed crits. I think you're just guaranteed 1 here no matter what because of the Electro Web from earlier.
You do have Aurora Veil. That shit's kind of electric. That shit lasts so long.
No!
Damn, I'm faster with 1 Electro Web. I did not know that.
Why did you Electro Web there?
Because I don't know what else I would have done. I don't think I can kill Lucario with my other moves.
I think you could, no?
Hey, Pollen? No, what move kills? I only have Dark Pulse, Pollen Puff, and Electro Web.
Yeah, no move for KO'd there, but since the Rocky Helmet was really good on Rhyperior, if you do, like, Lucario is the only way you could KO Rhyperior, otherwise Rhyperior gets an attack off, Lucario goes down anyway. Like, Lucario is pretty much ensured to go down there that turn, unless Dragonite crits a Glacial Lance into that position. Or if Fuslie went for Glacial Lance Moongeist beam into Rhyperior, that could work, but the Darkrai still lives, although it would have given an edge. I think overall, Ludwig was able to get a really good lead off that because it just ended up being advantageous because of how Fuslie played it. I think if Fuslie did just decide, hey, I'm going to switch out the Azumarill and the Dragonite, preserve the Azumarill health, this game would have been very different, of course. So that's just how it goes sometimes. If the Dragonite came in like earlier to absorb the Earthquake, because I think the Earthquake plus Altaria Fake Out or Follow Me was pretty obvious. Like, I think she would have had a pretty good spot, but she did not see it. She ended up taking too much damage, losing Azumarill, and then losing Azumarill was pretty bad because that's one of your best answers to Rhyperior gone. And yeah, it was a mon that could really tank the attacks from Darkrai as well and Prim. All right, we got game 2. By the way, I was watching the chats while this was happening, and I see you, FlyGod HD, give me a little bit of mid-set coaching. DRXX was not in the... Or I think he was in chat, but he wasn't talking about strategy. I don't think they consulted about the strategy. I know that Ludwig didn't talk to DRXX about like this matchup either. So he's late just play on instinct. Let's see what his lead is. He's gonna lead Altaria Prim this time. It's like an okay lead. It's not like my favorite lead, but it's like an okay lead. The thing is, Prim doesn't get any knockouts immediately, and you risk taking a lot of damage at the start. But it's like okay. I'd say probably gonna rely on the hard trick room, it looks like, with Rhyperior Chandelure. You gotta really watch out for the Azumarill though, because if Azumarill comes in, you don't have electric terrain if you're going with this mode. Spore is gonna be annoying, and then if the Azumarill gets set up, it's pretty bad. Like, it's pretty bad. So we'll see if Fuslie has anything to adjust. I think Fuslie brought okay mods. Like, I wasn't huge with the Bronze Song. I think you can only, if you want to plan for like Pollen Puff your Azumarill, it's okay. But I think she just didn't bring out the Dragonite turn 1 and didn't preserve the health on Azumarill. So I would like to see that from Fuslie's side. Yeah, this plan from Ludwig, not my favorite to handle, because also, like, your answers to Azumarill setting up were Taunt and Encore. If you're leaving them on the bench, the Azumarill can get very out of hand quickly. So let's see if Fuslie can capitalize on that, or if Ludwig can actually just knock it out quickly enough. Also, we noticed that it's Weakness Posse Chandelure. Ludwig did not have Weakness Posse Chandelure. I think he actually loaded up the wrong pace of this team. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw... Was it Electric Seed on Altaria that he had as well? Because Weakness Posse Chandelure is not correct. And it also is not supposed to have Thunder either. It's supposed to have Decorate. So you can't even go for the Decorate strat with this. He loaded up the wrong version of the team. I don't even know how he got the wrong version of the team, because I think DRXX only sent him one version of this team. This was like an early prototype we had, and it was because we couldn't damage raise my Lwig with any of the mons, so we had Thunder on the Chandelure for a bit. But I thought Thunder was just too troll, because it's like, are you really going to rely on Thunder hit the Milo, which doesn't even KO in electric terrain? It just wasn't worth it.
All right, I decided to go with a hard Trick Room team to start here.
Yeah, this is the problem. As I mentioned before, you don't really have the immediate damage output against these two mons, and like you give the turns for Ozzy to set up and Lucario to get like Thunders, go for paralysis and more. So this is not like it's an okay lead. I don't think it really advances much. Like the trades might not be worth it. That's the problem. You might lose in the trade war, especially because Altaria might give draining his health to the Azumarill, but we'll see.
She's going with a hard Trick Room team. She could use Thunder on Lucario, which would be kind of annoying. So I almost think it's better to follow me than fake out. Like normally I would fake out the Azumarill and then go for Trick Room. The risk though is I fake out the Azumarill. She goes for Thunder on Primarina. The Thunder fucking blows me up. If it doesn't kill me, it's just gonna make me so.
Thunder doesn't blow you up. Primarina has good special defense. That's like one of the best things. Crit would, but without crit, no. Even if X about no shot.
Hurt that I can't last. So I think I follow me Trick Room. Then I'm gonna probably tank a Spore and a Thunder.
Yeah, but the Azumarill is the fastest thing on the Tricker, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Azumarill, like if it doesn't quiver this turn, can go for like so many spores, and you can't KO Azumarill. That's the problem. Like you could also see the Lucario switch out, go to Bronzong here, and I think that's a fair play because then you can Pollen Puff spam the Azumarill potentially. Like you have to get through to follow me Altaria, but you could also just follow me the attacks from Azumarill, which is also pretty decent.
And but at least I've set up Trick Room.
But Trick Room doesn't accomplish you anything. That's the problem. I mean, he does. I don't think he knows the speed tiers though between the Azumarill, but the Azumarill is actually the slowest thing currently, unless it quivers this turn. Then he'll be faster with Primarina.
Actually, is that worth? I think it's worth. Because if I have the Trick Room up, what I would do is I would double swap into right.
I will swap into Rhyperior Shandy.
Chandelure, because I think she would then use Thunder on the Primarina spot. Yeah, so I was right. So
yeah, but you get Spored and then you get Steam Eruption. You brought in two Pokemon that are weak to Steam Eruption, and you got to no damage on the Azumarill.
I think it was a great call. Paralysis. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so lucky. That is so. Do you know how lucky that is?
I think it's lucky because if I'm not mistaken, I saw the Altaria not have Chesto-Berry, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw it have Electric Seed. If he had the Chesto-Berry, I mean, it helps in the later parts, but it could be unlucky later on anyway, so we'll see.
Wait, what? What happened?
Your Spore failed because you paralyzed me and you can't be double status affected.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky. Stupid, so stupid.
Justice!
Yeah, we saw Electric Seed on the Altaria. We literally just saw Electric Seed on the Altaria.
You're so lucky. Stupid, so stupid.
Yeah, see, it had Electric Seed. So it actually mattered in that scenario because his original pace is Chesto-Berry. He just has the wrong version of the team loaded up for some reason.
Justice!
Okay, so you Trick Roomed, right? Whatever. Now.
All right. I could go for a Draco. I could also.
You could follow me to avoid the Spore because she could still spam Spore unless she wants to read it and go for Quiver Dance. I guess you could break the Shadow Shield on Lucario because you could go for like Draco Meteor Steam Eruption. I don't know if that would KO, but it has probably some good damage. So that could be a play. You do open up Primarina though to get attacked or Spored, which is not ideal. I think if you're Fuslie side, you could go to Bronzong if you have in the back. And either Spore or Quiver Dance here, which would be ideal.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I don't think that's a... I think that's a pretty fair play from Fuslie. Like just going for the Spore and Primarina, gain the paralysis, and then now you get to build up damage. Now it's a pretty rough spot if you're Ludwig.
That's really unlucky.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fucked. That is fucked. Well, I guess that's the issue. What is a Azumarill gonna even do here?
Now I think if I'm Fuslie, I'm just building up the momentum. I'd probably just start setting up Quiver Dances, maybe bring in Bronzong so I can go for like just some setup if I want to. You could keep attacking with Lucario too. I just don't think it's necessary because you are risking like you have to go for multiple Thunders hitting. But I guess you don't have to go to Bronzong, but I would like the follow me redirection out on the board. But think it's fine. Also, I don't know how I keep speeding it up.
Okay,
So
I think I have a great swap though. Oh, fuck, do I? I think I Draco Meteor, the Azumarill, and then I swap Rhyperior.
he doesn't know the type chart. He doesn't know the type chart.
Oh my god, it's immune. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm actually a fucking idiot. I did
BRXX in shambles.
a dragon move against a fucking... Shit, that was dumb as shit.
You can't really let it open up too much. I mean, this position's fine. You get free follow me earthquake off, and you just gotta hope you're not paralyzed this time, and you get the damage in a zoomer. You know you two-shot it from previously. The only thing is, I think the Bronzong's slower than the Rhyperior, so if I'm not mistaken. No, the Bronzong moved before Rhyperior in the last game. So no, you can yeah, you can just earthquake here pretty safely. And follow me. You just gotta hope that you don't get paralyzed with Voltaria.
What is a Azumarill weak to?
Going to Chandelure just ruins your momentum because you can't KO the Azumarill unless you get lucky with a crit. Like, I think you have to risk it there. Like, you didn't have to risk it the first time. Now you have to risk it. And by going Chandelure, you lose a lot of momentum because Steam Eruption is going to get a KO.
Dude, my matchup here is so bad. Oh, the Quiver Dance is actually a huge mistake from Leslie.
That is a huge mistake. That was very greedy.
The Quiver Dance is a massive mistake. That was so...
Yeah, because now, because she Sacred Sword to Rhyperior, she lost a lot. She lost her Shadow Shield because the Rocky Helmet chip broke the Lucario, and now it's very awkward. Like, I think Follow Me Earthquake just ended up being a really great spot. I think if you were Fuslie, you should have probably went Dragonite for the Lucario. And maybe Steam Eruption for the Paralysis chance. But yeah, now it's... Or you could have Draining Kiss the Altaria. Draining Kiss Altaria could have worked. I mean, Chandelure switched in, but... I don't know. Now the Azumarill is super low, and Ludwig can actually dress into KOs, which is not great for her.
greedy of her, no?
It was.
I think I can just do a heat... I think I can just do a heat wave. And a high horsepower again. I'm faster than both, I think. Oh, dude, this is the wrong Chandelure. This is annoying.
Yeah, it's the wrong Chandelure, which is pretty bad. Although it would have been ideal, like, earlier if the Zoomer wasn't set up because you have Thunder, but, like...
This is a bit unlucky. This is not my actual team, chat. My Chandelure does not have Thunder or Weakness policy. It normally has Room Service. And, what was my third move?
Decorate.
Decorate would be a lot nicer here, to be honest.
Unfortunately, the Decorate strategy doesn't work with Rhyperior because Chandelure at -1 speed still doesn't outspeed Rhyperior under Trick Room, unfortunately. That was like one of the weaknesses of the Decorate Chandelure, but it was mainly for the Primarina mode. Like, Rhyperior is just so slow.
Like, if I did because if I had my Room Service, Decorate, Earthquake, I think I kill both. And I have a pretty unstoppable Rhyperior. Well, I guess I only have one more turn of Trick Room. No,
it doesn't work anyway. Like, if you Earthquake, the Chandelure goes down. I mean, these two probably go down, but then you're out of Trick Room. I guess it depends on what Fuslie has, because if it's like Dragonite Bronzong in the back, it's kind of hard for Blood to... Well, you would lose Chandelure, maybe Trick Room Kit reset, but the Dragonite's still healthy. Bronzong's around Pollen Puff. Yeah, no, it's still kind of awkward to deal with.
all right, Trick Room's over.
I mean, it does find a double knockout. I think if you're Fuslie, you should, if you had Dragonite, you should have switched in Dragonite. Again, it's probably very likely you're going to go for the ground move here instead. And the fire, which Dragonite would have been able to switch into, and you would have preserved one of the resources, which would have been really nice. Actually, but Lucario's like really good here. because Glacial Lance plus Moongeist Beam could have knocked out the Chandelure. Even if it's a Zumero, you still have that Spore pressure for the second round of Trick Room.
Kind of wasted a couple turns of Trick Room, but we do have a mana advantage here.
But this is a fantastic spot. Like, no Bronzong. I like seeing the Kingdra now from Fuslie, because now, once Ludwig switches into Glacial Lance, 13 Strikes. Granted, the Primarina is still a bit of a problem, but the thing is, the Primarina is asleep, right? Because it got spored. So, like, yeah, Ludwig's about to get overrun by damage, I think, from Fuslie's side.
You know what? This is where it's probably better if I had kept Darkrai instead of bringing Chandelure. I think Chandelure was a mistake.
Chandelure's decent. It's better as a lead, though. Yeah.
Okay, that's fucked. It's so fucked because it's a 50-50 who he Surging Strikes.
Not really. It's more likely it targets the Chandelure always. And you don't want Primarina. Like, if you switch into Primarina on that slot, it was going down anyway. So it was like, it didn't matter. Like, the Rapier had Rocky Helmet, so you don't want the Focus Sash to be broken on Fuslie's side. So she was like very likely to target the Chandelure slot no matter what.
It's just a genuine 50-50 there.
Not really.
I think I go for a fake. I think my only win con is Fake Out and then Trick Room.
I think the Primarina only took one turn of sleep. Moonblast doesn't KO any of these. Maybe Moonblast crit Dragonite. You could Dragon Darts here, the Altaria, and you can Drill Peck the Primarina. You could also Surging Strikes and Drill Peck, but the problem is if Altaria follows me, it's a bit weird, so it's kind of a bit of a mind game for the most part if you're Fuslie, but most likely she has like a really strong win con, especially if Ludwig stays asleep, because I think it took a first turn of sleep when it got spored initially.
And then I'll live the Glacial Lance. If she goes for a Dragon Hammer, I might die. I have to wake up too. This is fucked. The paralysis really fucked my team there. I thought it was
also because you went for, I mean, I don't see how you win this anyway, because even if you wake up, you went for Trick Room. Because you went for Trick Room, like Dragonite E-Speeds, and the game's over. You don't have Rock Slide, so you can't flinch of these for a win con even in Trick Room.
gonna win me the game because it stopped the Spore, but it's way better if my Altaria is asleep here than my Primarina being asleep. And if Follow Me worked, this wouldn't have happened. So this is actually really bad.
It was unfortunate, but there was place around it.
I gotta tank the Glacial Lance. Yeah, I'm faking out the Kingdra, then I Trick Room. Oh my god, GG.
It's paralyzed, but you faked out the Kingdra, so it didn't
so
matter because Drill Peck would have gone into Primarina and a KO. So like, no matter what, you were losing that game. Like the thing is, playing games around the Spore Azumarill was pretty much just always going to lose. And I think Fuslie just had a better back here. Like if it was Bronzong, it was annoying still, but like it was playable. But Kingdra just put on so much offensive pressure here. So
cooked.
Yeah,
that's so cooked, bro. 2 paralysis procs.
I mean, it is 30% for Thunder, but there were plays to... That's kind of thing about going this hard trigger route is like leaving the Lucario for open turns is pretty annoying. That's why there are plans like, for example, like Darkrai Chandelure. You live one Steam Eruption from the Azumarill. You can go for Electroweb into the Heat Wave, KO the Lucario, and it actually puts you in a pretty decent spot because like there's not really the best switch-ins, maybe Dragonite, but then you could play around it. So there's like a lot you could probably do, but yeah.
I think I lose regardless, but I mean, that doesn't make my life easier.
There's nothing you could do to win this position unless Fuslie...
Damn, I'm cooked.
I don't even know.
That's a bummer.
I don't think Fuslie could throw this game.
That's actually
Spam detect with Kingdra.
She started Braun. Who did she start this game, dude? We don't even know who we're... No.
Okay, we're going to be skipping a bit in the timeline, and just to update, it is going to be transformed into a best of 5. They had some problems where you should use a registered account on Showdown, especially if you're a big streamer, because if you don't register the account, anyone can log into your name, and that's what happened. Like there were like 2 troll matches where they were in the middle of the game and someone took over the account, so that's why they have different usernames. But yeah, like overall, I'm not a huge fan of the hard trigger route against Fuslie, mainly because the Azumarill makes it very awkward at times, and controlling the Azumarill is like the way to win this because that Spore is really annoying. You do have place around it, like the Dragonite with Taunt is pretty good. It's a pretty decent lead across the board here. You do have other things as well. That's why Rapier, even though it does a lot of damage, it's not like my favorite in the matchup. It can overwhelm, but you gotta make sure the Azumarill is handled. And I think if Fuslie keeps the Azumarill healthy, it's great. Like game 1, she didn't really do that. Game 2, I mean, she kind of got the spores off at least. She kind of sacrificed it though because she got greedy with the second Quiver Dance, which was unnecessary. But yeah, let's see how well they can adjust because we have 2 to 3 games to go potentially.
Okay.
So I'm starting Darkrai Dragonite with Rhyperior and Primarina in the back.
Darkrai Dragonite. Darkrai Dragonite, it's not my favorite lead here. It's usually like a great lead in general, but the problem is from Fuslie's opener, it's been Lucario Azumarill, which it's kind of awkward against because, I mean, leading Darkrai is just weird in this matchup because of the Sacred Sword pressure and the Azumarill. I think I probably would have preferred like Chandelure plus the Dragonite or something else at that point to just go for like Heat Wave, Breaking Swipe, or Taunt the Azumarill. Just make sure it doesn't get set up, and then you can go for like Darkrai Prim. It's just very awkward to position this matchup because the leads that you go against Fuslie's team are very different from like any other competitor's teams because of her defensive nature and like the awkward spot of the Azumarill speed as well as the Lucario being kind of awkward to handle.
Okay.
And you're
I'm starting.
I forget. Person's Twitch, if they did it or whatever. We should have made passwords. It's fine. All right.
All right, Darkrai Dragonite versus Dragonite Lucario. This is probably a pretty good lead, I'd say, if you're... I mean, I wouldn't say this is a good lead, but at least you can go for Electro at Breaking Swipe and get the stat drops onto these Pokemon immediately. You might lose Darkrai this turn, but that's completely fine. If Fuslie goes for Tailwind, that could be concerning, but across the board, it should be okay.
Okay. So I think we just Electro at Breaking Swipe. I'm not thinking twice about it. There's really no other change I want to have made. Actually,
Yeah, no, it's probably your best play.
What? Electro Web Taunt on Leslie could be a...
Okay, so I get the taunt idea to prevent the Tailwind, but the thing is the Electro Web makes you faster than the Lucario and the Dragonite. You get a Breaking Swipe off, then you can, and if she Tailwinds, you can, because of the Electro speed drop, I think Darkrai's faster than Lucario still afterward. Then you could go for Encore into the Lucario and trap it so it can't go for Sacred Sword because it'll be locked into Tailwind. So even though I get the taunt play, it doesn't really work out here because there's a better option to cover for a Tailwind play from this turn.
Gross read here. If she Brain Dead does the same move as last time, it stops the Tailwind, which just helps me get speed control with these 2 tanky mons early. Now, if she goes for a Sacred Sword on me, it kind of sucks, but we'll see.
I mean, it worked out, but again, you could have encored the Lucario and then just kept spamming Breaking Swipe. Although that Dragonite did a lot of damage because you didn't get the Breaking Swipe off first. So yeah, the Dragonite just took a lot of damage. I think you live 2 Glacial Lances, but then again, there's Extreme Speed, but you could have got like 2 Breaking Swipes off here, which would have been really nice.
Okay. So it did work. Now, the question is, what do I do?
Yeah, now because of that taunt, you might actually be in a worse spot because now you don't threaten the Kale and Lucario. Sacred Sword will threaten the Darkrai knockout, and the Dragonite can threaten the Glacial Lance. So, not the prettiest position, I'd say. You don't even have a good switch. Maybe Prim, but even Prim is like kind of awkward here because taking a lot of damage with Prim on a Sacred Sword Glacial is not ideal.
Here.
Unless you have Chandelure back. If you have Chandelure back, you can switch it in. That's the only mon that could switch in.
I think I go for a... I think I have to go for a Dark Pulse, and then I have to go for a Breaking Swipe.
You can also go for like Pollen Puff onto the Dragonite and go for Breaking Swipe because that might help the Dragonites survive the turn I think that's the only way that a double knockout doesn't occur unless you go for a Dark Pulse flinch. Electro Web could also work because both of these Pokemon would be slow. Then you can bring Primarina, and if Primarina can get a knockout, that'd be big. But yeah, it's awkward.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she should never be in that position. Beast never KO'd the Dragonite from there.
Extreme speed. Doesn't matter. This should kill Dragonite. Oh my god, it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess Dark Pulse Breaking Swipe kind of makes sense if you think it KOs Dragonite, but yeah, Assault Vest Dragonite's just so tanky. Like, it's saying the Dark Pulse. The Breaking Swipe does do a lot of damage, but it's not enough. I don't think Dynamax Cannon KO'd either because of the Assault Vest, but I'm not 100% certain on that one.
Wow. Okay, that's not great for me, to be honest.
Better than if like Dragonite just attacked the Dragonite with Glacial Lance once again. If you got hit by Glacial Lance, this battle, what it came down to, does Thunder connect onto the Primarina?
Okay, we're just gonna go for a oh fuck. I think I have to surf.
Surf KOs the Dragonite, you outspeed. It doesn't KO the Lucario. I guess if you Dynamax Cannon, I mean, you could get a triple knockout and get the boost, which might not be that bad of a plan because the Zumo's most likely in the back. I guess I don't hate it. Like, I think if you want to make that play, I just don't know if you're faster than Lucario. That's the problem. If you're going to make that play, you probably Dynamax Cannon Surf, but also, like, I'd probably just Steam Eruption to Lucario, take the knockout. It's like Dragonite most likely will probably E-speed one of these slots for damage, most likely.
No, it's actually fine. I go for a Trick Room. She's going to use Extreme Speed, but I think it's fine. I know it's going to kill, but I think it's fine. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's electric terrain.
Because getting the Trick Room up is the only way that I win this game.
This is not a bad spot of your Ludwig, but it really depends on the back. If it's Azu Kingdra, I think you're cooked. If it's Bronzong Azu, I think you're fine. So it depends.
It's probably better to just go for Moonblasts. No, Moonblast doesn't. Yeah, Moonblasts, and then High Horsepower.
Yeah, that's fine. There's like so many different options you can go for. You can go for Steam Eruption here, and you could go for Low Kick here. If you want to read like a Bronzong switch or Azu switch, you could do that with like Moonblast High Horsepower, which is the most ideal one. I think it's like completely fine.
So she's gonna go for an Extreme Speed. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna kill me. It's a bit unlucky. I didn't do the calcs right there. That's okay.
Extreme Speed doesn't KO Prim.
Ooh, a switch out's interesting.
Good Bronzong switch denies the Grim Nay. Good play by Fuslie.
I don't know how good a switch out is for her. It's not that bad, I guess. But she has a 6% mon in the back now. All right, we still have Trick Room for 3 turns.
Oh, Kingdra back. Kingdra back actually makes this super interesting. Yeah, no Azumarill Rod is very, very interesting. Okay, so we have a position where Rhyperior KOs the Bronzong and outspeeds it, and the Primarina also like can threaten the Kingdra. But the thing is, you can't KO Kingdra because if you go for Self Earthquake, you KO your Primarina, which means you lose the game here to Surging. Your best play here is you have to call whether the Bronzong is going to stay in or switch out. Because if you're Ludwig, right, the straightforward play here, High Horsepower to Bronzong and Moonblast to Kingdra. Kingdra can get a knockout, but it's not enough. But the Surging Strikes can go into Primarina, and then it's like a mind game here. The next turn. So if you're Fuslie, you could switch out to Dragonite to avoid the higher horsepower, getting directed into Bronzong. You could go for the Surgeon to KO Primarina, and then you have a 3v1, and you can kind of dance around the Rhyperior a bit. So yeah, it's a bit tricky still because our only contact move is Surging, so it's not easy per se. But Yeah, it's a tough end game for sure from both players because you kind of have to get like a read right on the Rhyperior target.
But now I just Moonblast you, and I high horsepower you.
Yep, that's the straightforward simple play. Fuslie does have counterplay, but it's really tricky here. You could also detect Kingdra go Dragonite, which is also fair, but at the same time, that leaves our Kingdra vulnerable to next turn.
So the follow me. Oh, she goes for detect. That's fine. I still get Trick Room. Song. It will cancel the follow me. Oh, she goes for detect. That's fine. I still get Trick Room for 2 turns.
If Fuslie, I guess, thinks that Extreme Speed KOs the Primarina, I guess, but Extreme Speed's not going to KO Primarina at this range, so she kind of lost a Bronzong, and unfortunately, this is a worse spot than hard switching into Dragonite. So now, the Kingdra is free to get doubled up, but realistically, you have a safe play of Moonblast to Kingdra and low kick the Dragonite to KO, and then if Kingdra Surging Strikes to Prim, Prim goes down, which is fine because it'll take 2 hits to KO Rhyperior with Surging Strikes, and Rocky Helmet will KO the Kingdra's remaining Focus Sash after it hangs on from the Moonblast. So you need Extreme Speed crit right here for Fuslie.
I also have oh, I have no one in the back actually, so I kind of have to win. We're gonna go for a Moonblast on you. No, we have to go for a Moonblast on you.
Okay.
And then I guess a low kick.
Don't rest a miss. Don't rest a miss.
So hold up. Moonblast, the Shrimp, low kick, the Boomy.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I think I just win here.
That is almost guaranteed as long as no Extreme Speed crit, but you can't play around Extreme Speed crit. So this is your safest play. If you're Fuslie, you go for Extreme Speed crit, and you probably go for a Triple Protect with Kingdra, realistically. Yeah, you go for a Triple Protect with Kingdra. Yes.
Because Rhyperior is going to kill with low kick. I'm using low kick because it's higher accuracy than
Stone Edge.
Stone Edge, and high horsepower Earthquake don't affect.
Yeah. As we see, that's the problem here
kill,
for
right?
Fuslie's side.
Oh, she's a sash. Oh, wow. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because she dies to Assault. She dies to Rocky Helmet.
Yep, Helmet was really important there. So, I mean, Fuslie actually did pilot that end game or the mid game, the turn before it was the Bronzong Kingdra angle. The switch to Bronzong was really good because it denied the Kingdra the boost. The only problem was, yeah, she let the Bronzong go down for free. I think if she got into Dragonite, I think she had to read commit and she couldn't really sacrifice there. Unless she really wanted to go for Extreme Speed crit, but then you're banking on Extreme Speed crit. I think you had different angles to approach that end game. You could have switched into Dragonite, protect on the Kingdra. Then if you're not confident, then next turn you could do Extreme Speed to Prim, swap to Bronzong, or maybe you attack because you'd be forced to double up the slot. I don't know. It's not super easy to handle, I think, if you're Fuslie side, but I think just letting go of the Bronzong just guaranteed the loss there, or not guaranteed. I mean, there's still Crip involved, but it didn't really give you a chance to outplay, I think. But I do think it was a little bit tough because no Azumarill brought, because I think Azumarill is just, again, kind of stops this trigger mode that Ludwig's been going for. But if you don't have it, it's really awkward if you have to play in his room, I'd say. So it looks like we're going to go into game 4. Darkrai, Dragonite, Primarina, Chandelure. These are the 4 I think are the most valuable in this matchup that provide the most straightforward path to victory, because Rhyperior is shaky, as I mentioned before, but Chandelure at least takes a Steam Eruption from Azumarill that isn't boosted, and also switching to Sacred Sword from the Lucario. Heat Wave puts on a lot of pressure. If you get a Decorate off, you're in a very good spot. So yeah, this is generally a mode. I mean, I'm not sure if I like the Darkrai Dragonite lead in this case scenario. It's playable, but it's not the greatest. So let's see what we're gonna see here.
Let's find out. Okay, she has the same start.
All right, same game. Realistically, I've already talked about how this lead could go and how you could just electro a breaking swipe and it's pretty safe. There is the extra layer of the mind game with the taunt, so Fuslie might just decide to go for a Sacred Sword this time, which I think is like more ideal for her. So I would probably just click electro a breaking swipe in this position. You could go Chandelure here if you want to. It's not like my favorite spot, but I mean, it can be a play. But yeah, as I said before, this is why I kind of like the Chandelure lead, because you can go for Electro Wave, Heat Wave, and threaten like this kind of lead if it is led. And like Dragonite can't do much to Chandelure because it can't one-shot it, and it can't E-Speed Revenge follow-up.
I'm going to go for, I think I'm straight up going to go for no taunt. I'm going to predict she won't Tailwind here.
If she Tailwinds, you just Encore because he outspeed after Electro Web, so it's just a pretty free Electro Web breaking swipe.
If she does Tailwind, I think I'm fine with it. Oh my god, she's mad.
It's a lot of damage, but yeah, the breaking swipe and electric seed Darkrai, like this is why the electric seed breaking swipe combo is just so good, man. The electric seed electro web breaking swipe, like that only matters when you have all the sets combined, and that's why the team was designed like this. That's why we designed it like this.
I just know she's mad.
You have a pretty safe, just go I would like Darkrai kept around. It's not necessary. You could go for breaking swipe here, which I think you're always going to click, and you could go Chandelure, or you could just spam Electro Web breaking swipe, which is also fine if you want to sack Darkrai. I'm a little bit concerned about Azumarill on the back, as well as maybe the Kingdra, but overall, like, this is a pretty good spot to be in if you're Ludwig.
I just know she's mad. Holy fuck. That's crazy. I know you're mad. I know you're mad right now.
Shut up! I'm not mad.
All right, here's what I do. I actually swap for Chandelure. Actually, you know what? I swap for Primarina, and then I breaking swipe.
I don't like Primarina taking extreme speed damage because that puts you in range of Thunder from Lucario. So, and you still can't knock out the Lucario with what you have on the board. So I like Chandelure more than Primarina. I think Primarina is actually kind of bad because if you get the E-Speed damage, I mean, I guess you could Pollen Puff the Primarina, so it's not like the end of the world. But if like she has like Kingdra, she can like Dragon Darts the Dragonite and Thunder. So I don't like the Primarina play.
Because I'd rather have this Darkrai in with like 1 HP.
It is worth keeping the Darkrai around because it makes the Azumarill not able to go super out of control with Quiver Dance.
I guess the issue with that though is then she can bring in Kingdra.
Yep.
But then I can swap back out. Oh, that's actually nasty. Okay, so let's swap.
What do you mean swap back out? Oh, wait, what? On the surging? Does he mean surging? Because like you don't have a Dragon Dart switching for this slot, and then the Thunder is going to nuke you on that slot. I don't know what he's talking about.
Prim, and let's breaking swipe. My goal is to set up Trick Room. If she threatens, actually, what do you mean? What am I thinking here? Actually, what if I? What could fuck up Primarina?
The Lucario that's still around and that can Thunder you.
Fuck up Primarina?
We saw the Thunder do 80%. We saw the Thunder do 80%.
What if I do this? What if I go for some bullshit here? What if I really try to fucking break her brain? Check this out. I'm gonna swap.
The better play. The better play.
Type.
Reasonable play from Fuslie. You like Dragonite's going down there. unless you want to switch out to Azumarill for that slot, which I honestly think is fair. If you want to preserve the Dragonite, you go Azumarill for that slot, and Lucario just goes for like a Moongeist Beam and Lucario. I think that'd be pretty fair of a play. Or Sacred Sword, because you could be fearing like a Pollen Puff, I guess, randomly. But yeah, it is the best play to just go Chandelure here if you're Ludwig and just do Breaking Swipe. And Fuslie, I think it's nice having the Lucario preserved because it has access to Thunder and Moongeist Beam now, so it's not bad for her. Like, it could have gotten way worse.
Holy fuck. I'm outplaying her on every street. I'm outplaying her on every street.
Bronzong. Okay, so it's Bronzong back. This is a really good position for Ludwig. I assume a double up with Moongeist Beam Pollen Puff my KO to Bronzong. And Fuslie doesn't have the best switch-ins. I would just attack because the Azumarill can't threaten knockout. And if she Quiver Dances, that's fine. You still have Encore pressure. And you could even taunt with Dragonite. Like, you could double taunt here. I like taunt on either of these mons, really. And maybe just attacking with Chandelure because you're not threatened with a knockout here. Only by a crit.
What does she do here?
She can't really sport a Dragonite. She probably has to either Quiver Dance or go for a Steam Eruption immediately. Both are pretty reasonable here.
She could go for... So she has a few options, right? She could go for... I don't think she needs Follow Me. I think she'll Aurora Veil with Bronzong. With Azumarill, she could go for a Sporon Dragonite, because although there's electric terrain, it only affects Pokemon who touch the ground. Or she could go for a Quiver Dance. Or she could go for a Steam Eruption on Chandelure. I'm going to swap out for Darkrai, and I'm going to swap out for Primarina. I'm going to do a double swap.
I don't think you need a double swap. I think it's really likely she spores here.
So she uses Steam Engine. I'm so much better than her. I'm genuinely so much better than her. It's crazy. I'm so much better than her. It's fucking insane.
I figure you didn't need to do the Prim. I would have liked Taunt. I don't think she had to follow me either because Azumarill wasn't threatened by a knockout. She could just Pollen Puff if she wanted to make that play because she doesn't risk taking damage on Bronzong. And if it was a Moongeist Beam targeting to the Azumarill, then it's fine. Like, Taunt doesn't change anything here. So, I mean, it's a decent offensive position. You can now just go for a Dark Pulse and you can go for... Probably just go for Dark Pulse plus, like, Steam Eruption. You could go for a Trick Room, I suppose, here as well. There's like quite a few plays that you could go for. I guess saving the Dragonite so you can have Electric Terrain for the Spore isn't bad either. So I guess like it's still a pretty decent play here. But yeah, there's like a few options that you have here. It does work out for Ludwig, and I don't think it's a bad play.
It's insane how much better I am than her. It's actually insane, chat. It's actually insane.
Actually, do you need to Trick Room? You don't have to Trick Room because the Azumarill is still faster than you. But then again, if you get... The thing is, Dark Pulse on the Bronzong...
That's a crazy...
I don't remember the damage.
Now I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse on the Bronzong. I think it's an Oko if I remember the calc. And if that Okos and I have Trick Room set up, like what the fuck? She can't Spore me. She can set up a Quiver Dance. But like, I don't know what she's going to do here. If she goes for a kill on Darkrai, that's fine. It gives me tempo to swap in my Chandelure.
Yeah, like, I don't think Trick Room's that bad. If you think she's going to Quiver Dance, Trick Room's probably better. Like, Trick Room is probably better here. And Dark Pulse is just pretty free in the Bronzong. It's just annoying if she lives the Dark Pulse, gets an Aurora Veil up, because it's hard to break through Azu.
She's cooked, bro. She's cooked. I'm playing so well right now.
And do you need to damage the Bronzong?
She's
Because...
I had that read so hard. I think she's gonna... I don't know what she's gonna do.
I am ready to log into her account if this turns bad for you like the last couple of times, boss.
I did not ask people to log in on my behalf, just to be clear. I think she's...
I can't lie, though. You do have to watch out. So I'm going to say this for anyone in general. When you get a bunch of plays right and you start feeling it, So there's like tilt when you play bad and then you start tilting, right? But there's also positivity tilt. So there's two kinds of tilt. There's the negative tilt when you're playing or when you're making bad plays and it spirals into making bad plays. But there's also another direction that you can go for, which is positive tilt, which means if you're like outplaying your opponent really hard, you could just get into your head and get into the zone where you kind of get overconfident in yourself in the plays you make, and sometimes those plays might not be the best plays afterward, and then you start throwing the game in a different direction. And this has happened to me. Like, I think one of the biggest examples of this actually is my 2019 top 4 world set, where I have literally have tilted because I outplayed Naoto game 1 even after getting crit. Like, I got every single turn right, and then the next turns 2 and 3 I felt myself a bit too much. And literally, I realized after I locked in turn 1 of game 3 that he was not going to double protect and that I should always fake out. And because I had this positive tilt, it messed up the entire game and it was definitely the wrong play. So yeah, you have to watch out because Fuslie can still win this. Like, she can still win this. The Azumarill is healthy. The Darkrai is low. It's 100% winnable for her.
Cooked, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I think she's cooked. I'm outplaying her hard here. There's an argument for me to encore the follow me, but I almost don't
I hate you.
want. I fucking read your soul.
I fucking hate you.
I read your fucking soul, bro. We are not the same in this game. I want you to know that shit.
You want to make sure you get the damage in Bronzong because like Darkrai, I mean, I guess you have Chandelure, but I think you want the heavy damage on Bronzong. Otherwise, it just gets really annoying across the board.
Third place because of seeding, not because of skill.
Bro, I don't want to hear it, okay? You went in with wrong items. You should be disqualified. This doesn't count. Everything
this doesn't count. You use Steam Eruption into a water type. Into a water type.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's why I like the Steam Eruption there. Dark Pulse, I didn't think KO'd the Bronzong, and then Steam Eruption knocked out the Bronzong, got the Grim Neigh boost, and then you could encore the Azu forever into the Quiver Dance, and then you could like Trick Room with Primarina, and then you have a pretty much a guaranteed lock, I think.
I do?
You use Steam Eruption into a water type. I called the dry skin swap. I called that shit. You're not on my fucking wavelength, bro.
That was good. That was good. You had people come hack your account to throw me off my game.
Hack my account. That's fucking crazy. Nobody hacked my damn account, bro. I'm outplaying you on genuinely every street that exists. I am so much better.
You're not, though. You're not.
I'm sorry. I'm literally better.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward now because I don't know if he can actually knock out the Bronzong with Primarina. The Oz is kind of pinning the Darkrai slot with Draining Kiss now, and you can pivot around. It's just very awkward, I think, the upcoming turns, because it's still, you have not gotten the damage on Ozu on the board, but I do think maybe Darkrai switching to Chandelure and Steam Eruption. The only problem is Bronzong probably can get a Roar Veil up because it'll live the Steam Eruption and is not threatened by a knockout, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, this game ain't over, by the way.
It's not. I
but
know.
That read was fucking awesome.
Okay, that was good, but that was good. One impressive play you've done.
Also, like, the advantage not Trick Room is having that encore threat on the Azu, which would have been really nice here. Like, even Dark Pulse and a Surf might have been really ideal because you could still encore threaten the Azu. But then again, if the Bronzong didn't flinch, Aurora Veil could have gotten off, which could have been weird. And I think it might have lived the Surf at the range.
I think I go for a Steam Eruption on Brawny and I swap out. I think I go for Steam Eruption on Brawny and then I have to swap out to Chandelure. Because she's not going to use, I don't think she's...
I like it. She, like, it's less likely she Steam Eruptions a Darkrai. If you're Fuslie, it's a tough spot. You might have to commit here on the read. You could also just Quiver Dance again, realistically. Quiver Dance and Sunsteel Strike work, or you Draining Kiss Aurora Veil, and I think it's actually still a good position for you regardless. So I think either of those plays don't get you any downsides realistically with Fuslie.
thinking far enough to ahead. I think.
Wait, why did I flinch the round before this?
It's because I did Dark Pulse, which has a 20% chance to flinch. So you couldn't set up your
So you're
Aurora
saying
Veil.
it's because of luck.
I mean, yeah, there's some luck in this game, but like,
So you agree it was luck?
it was not luck when I fucking took
Yeah, I
out my
agree, but you're
1%
saying
Dark Ride
that
to
you're
swap it
saying
in for
that
you to
that
heal
was
my own Dark Cry.
that's
You,
necessarily
you literally healed my own Dark
Well,
Cry.
listen, that was good. I get it.
Bro
I
is
know
literally
what
so
Dry
pressed
Skin
right
does. I
now.
know what Dry Skin does. I know.
I just want to log into your fucking account again.
All right. And he sealed the
God.
window. All right. Chandelure,
Wait,
Aurora
was it-
Veil,
was it,
Steam Eruption.
Was it the one that I know? It's a
Rain
story.
Kiss.
It's the whole story one. I've been watching. There's a 4.5 video. Me and Ray we started watching it too. But I guess a lot of his are 4 hours. It's the one about a parish song, Parish Trap.
Okay, so this position, it's pretty good because she didn't get to harvest this time. I think your play to always here, if you're Ludwig, is you want to make sure Spore never comes out from the Azumarill and the Primarina, because that's how you lose. You should always swap out Chandelure, go out into the Dragonite, and just Steam Eruption the Bronzong. If Surf KOs at that range, maybe, but I mean, Surf looks like it might KO. I mean, like, no, I think Surf might be a range, actually. I'd Steam Eruption here. Switch out Chandelure to make sure Steam Eruption's never taken on the Chandelure, because it covers the Steam Eruption of Chandelure, but it also covers the Spore.
Yeah.
That video's electric.
He's a good storyteller.
I don't like Heat Wave Moonblast here because it doesn't, like, sure you KO'd Bronzong, but you're risking the Spore on Primarina, which gives the Azu chances to set up.
Okay, don't think this is over, buddy.
Yeah, I won't.
Never
could win.
decorate. Never decorate. Where does follow me involved?
You won't, but you could.
I can win.
You can win. Azu's still really threatening to Ludwig, but there are safe lines for Ludwig to take as long as he gets to KO. Like if he KOs everything around Azumarill, he can pin the Azu with like a multi mons with like Encore Threat, Self Decorate, and Taunt. But yeah, Dragonite play is probably the best.
This is hard for me to fucking. This is hard to calc. It's hard to calc whether I Heat Wave, Moonblast for the damage, or if I Decorate, and then I'm +2.
Both of those don't work.
I think Decorate's better here.
Just follow me and the
issue-
damage.
No, I actually can't Decorate. Because if I Decorate and he does follow me, the Decorate hits follow me. So I have to do this. Yeah, that would have been a huge mistake. There's a chance, however.
You don't have to Heat Wave though. You can just Steam Eruption. You get the Grim Nay boost, and then you snowball to Lucario with Moonblast the next turn, and then you're in a fantastic spot because the Azumarill can't get knockouts. You're risking the Spore, which is really bad.
For small, that happens, and that'd be really bad for me. So I just don't have the opportunity to Decorate. Well, actually, hold up. Am I slower? I might be slower. Fuck, I might be slower, so it might not be a problem. No, but follow me's prio. I don't know how it works. I'm just gonna Heat Wave because I actually don't know how it works. Okay, so I'm so glad I didn't do it. Follow me does have prio and Trick Room, so look what would have happened.
Yeah, I would have liked Steam Eruption, or I would have liked Steam Eruption more though, because let's see what the Azu does. Does it Spore? Steam Eruptions. Yeah, like the thing is, the Dragonite's kind of covered. You gotta watch out because the Azu can still theoretically sweep the game, but I think it's a lot harder for Fuslie to win. But if Ludwig throws this enough, like if she has an opening, she will take it. Because Aurora Veil's hard to knock out.
Fuck.
That's also another reason why I like Dragonite. You preserve to decorate Chandelure for a later part in the game because you just have, because you got rid of Follow Me Mon that turn. Chandelure can come in later, decorate potentially to Primarina later in the game. And you really want to stack the Grim Nay boost because right now you are just not doing enough damage to this Azu, especially with boost and Aurora Veil up. don't even know if you KO Lucario. You probably have to Steam Eruption KO it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, now you're in a really troublesome spot here where you had a really good lock, but unfortunately now you're in a weird spot. You probably get the knockout into the Lucario at least with Steam Eruption and get the +1. If Azu Draining Kiss KOs a Dragonite though, you're just in a really awkward spot, but you should always just go for the taunt into Azu. You should Steam Eruption. I think this game is going to go downhill though. The Azu could potentially just win here.
I think the best play... shit. I think we have to double... this fucking Azumarill could get really dangerous, though. But what is the Azumarill gonna fucking do to my Primarina? Nothing. So let's double...
The problem is, what are you going to do to Nabusa Azumarill once it gets multiple Quiver Dances off?
We'll target the Furry.
I think Steam Eruption KOs Lucario at this range. I mean, if you don't want to risk it, but I think you kind of have to. I think you need to taunt on Azu.
I almost think it's best at D-Max Cannon, Steam Eruption, take it out. Then I can hard focus on...
Oh, wait, there's Aurora Veil. Yeah, Steam Eruption doesn't KO. You actually have to do double Lucario. This is the thing that I had concerns about. Like, I think you needed the I think you needed to switch into Dragonite earlier. Yeah.
On the Azumarill. But I don't need to... Actually, does it have Detect? No, right? Yeah, we're fine. The best play that Leslie could do is probably...
I don't remember the speed tiers between Dragonite and Azu, so it's actually kind of weird. If the Azu's faster than Dragonite under Trick Room, then you at +1 you can Spore the Dragonite, or you can Draining Kiss. Both kind of work here. I'd probably just Spore and not risk a roll.
Spore the Dragonite or Quiver Dance? Quiver Dance is probably better. Oh, it's tough to say. I don't know.
Okay, it does live.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like Draining Kiss is a really weak move, so you need to Spore the Dragonite. Okay. And that's the thing earlier, as I said, because there was no Grim Nay boost, right? If he KO'd the Bronzong, then Steam Eruption was KOing the Lucario. Now, because there wasn't the Grim Nay boost, Lucario is to survive. I think like you could have Moonblast might have gotten the Lucario at +1. Now it's awkward. But yeah, I think that Steam Eruption and the fact that she Draining Kiss allows you to win the game guaranteed now. Yeah, so the optimal play here, it might not... I wonder if Ludwig will find this, because if he doesn't, it actually is still probably awkward. Your most optimal play here is to go for a Moonblast with Primarina and KO your Dragonite. And you might be wondering, why would you Moonblast a Dragonite? That's because of the Grim Nay. Grim Nay gives you a special attack boost when you KO a Pokemon, and that could be your ally too. So even though like a taunt would be nice into Azu, I think it's better just to KO your Dragonite. And you could also just save Dragonite. You can go like Darkrai and KO it, but I think I'd rather go for Darkrai Encore endgame. So yeah, I think it's better to go for it.
I should have taunted.
I mean, the Dynamax Cannon was forced to. She did misplay, but you also misplayed previous turns. So, like, yeah, like, you couldn't really afford to taunt because you didn't get the boost to KO the Lucario. So you actually needed it unless you want to pray for a Thunder Miss.
Why is she faster than me in Trick Room?
Because she's like min speed Azu. She's min speed Azu. Azu's like base 50 speed. Dragonite's base 80.
And then I Moonblast.
Yeah, if you just straight up Moonblast, I mean, if the Draining Kiss gets redirected into Primarina, it's a +1 Draining Kiss. Like, it's not doing any damage to Primarina. The problem is you don't have any boost, and there's a Roar Veil. Like, if you Moonblast KO your Dragonite, you do get the boost. I think it would be a pretty hard, like, play though to see, like, if especially if you don't know your team as well, because the Grim Neigh, you might not see it, but yeah, that's like how we would see like the optimal game plan if we did understand the team is the Primarina KOing the Dragonite, you get the boost, and then you could KO your own Darkrai, for example, go for like Electro Web, Moonblast again, Draining Kiss again, and then yeah, because she's not going to Quiver Dance when there's Encore threats, so yeah. I think if you want a chance, you have to Electro Web plus Moonblast your Darkrai here, but I'm pretty sure that Ludwig's not going to see it because it is a complicated play, as I mentioned before, especially if you're not familiar with like all the abilities and stuff that you have. But yeah, you go for Electro Web, drop the speed on the Azumarill, Primarina outspeeds the Azumarill at neutral, Moonblast KOs your Darkrai, you get a +1 special attack boost. They go for Draining Kiss, do very little damage. Electro trains up for 2 turns so they can't Spore. You get boosted Moonblast. And you hope you win, but you might not win because I think you needed +2 from the Dragonite plus the Dragonite and Darkrai KO. And that's why having Decorate Chandelure like kept around would have been valuable earlier. Because the Azumarill got out of hand, I think. And you're gonna have to pay for crits.
Might be unnecessary to set up Trick Room, but I'll just do it anyway.
Trick Room doesn't get you anything.
So he's gonna max heal her. I set up my Trick Room and then I Moonblast.
You're just praying for crit at this point. Like, if you get 1 crit, you do win, but I'm pretty sure there's not.
At least 1 special attack stage debuff. Actually, I don't
even if you do, it's still unlikely you win because again, you're gonna need a crit over time. On the bright side, Fuslie can't go for Quiver Dance for multiple turns, so if you do get a crit, you do win, but it's really tricky.
It's not even that big of a deal. So I do 30.
You could go for like Steam Eruption Burn too on the Azu since it's like decent odds. Then you can Moonblast crit because the Steam Eruption negates the leftovers recovery, but it's probably just wasting turns at this point.
33% per hit. Her Draining Kiss is 19 and she heals 12. Oh, and she has lefties. Fuck. I think I'm fucked. Actually, do I lose this?
Yeah, unless you get the crit, as I mentioned before. I'm pretty sure that there is not going to be a crit involved. Like, you could speed up a little bit. I'm going to put it on fast, but I'm like pretty sure. Special attack drop, Draining Kiss, not that big of a deal. Encore ends. But Electric Train's over, so now Fuslie always has Spore into Quiver Dance. You just Quiver Dance. I mean, if I guess if Ludwig gets on lucky with sleep turns, he might be able to, but like this is a Quiver Dance, it lives the next one, you Quiver Dance again, yeah, and now that Trick Room's over, you just get a +3 special defense, and even if Premier wakes up, you just get put back to sleep. As for Draining Kiss again, I would have just went for Quiver Dance there because a crit would have KO'd you anyway if you're Fuslie, and you kind of need your Draining Kiss power points because you still need to hit the Primarina. I don't know why. I wouldn't be going for Quiver Dance if I'm Fuslie. I'd be going for Quiver Dances. Gain that special attack and special defense boost. Like, powers up your Draining Kiss while also, like, boosting your special defense just to take the Moonblast better. Yeah, like, I mean, you Spore and then you Quiver Dance. It's like a cycle repeat. Like, Ludwig just, unless there's a crit involved, I just don't see a way out here. I think crit gets him in that range, though. So if... And she's -1 special attack. I mean, she's not doing damage. That's the thing. She finally starts Quiver Dancing, wakes up, but doesn't get the crit. Like, there were multiple opportunities to crit, but yeah, like that's kind of the thing. But here's the issue as well. Like, Ludwig did have like a guaranteed win, but he just didn't see it. To be fair, it is a hard. And I mentioned before, it's a hard win to notice. But yeah, like now it's just cycle. Eventually, like, yeah, there's not really too much to say about this. Yeah, she keeps going for Quiver Dance now, and she Spores again. You can why did she not Spore? She should have Spored. Now she spores. Okay. Sure. Okay, yeah, that was the final turn that Ludwig had. Like, he had to crit that turn. I don't know. I don't think crit Moonblast. Well, crit Moonblast a KO'd at that range? Maybe. That was like a really unnecessary quiver dance there for no reason. But yeah, so unfortunately, Ludwig did have a pretty strong game, but unfortunately was not able to see it out. So that is how it is sometimes. That is how it is sometimes. But yeah, he did have a pretty much locked up win condition for the most part, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one. He had to manage resources well, and I don't know how much he knows about like getting the KO on your partner to get it. I mean, he did surf, I think, a Chandelure in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, one time. But yeah, it was a tough one to see there. All right, game 5 time. Now, I mean, there's not really too much to say. I think we've kind of gone over this set pretty much about how the mashup goes. Game 4, obviously Ludwig had room to just secure the win, but unfortunately didn't see the path to victory. If he can set up the Primarina early, he'll be in great shape. He just got to make sure the Azumarill doesn't get too many free turns, and that's kind of what he allowed it to do. So mainly it's just checking the Azumarill. If you're Fuslie, you definitely want to make sure that the Azumarill is preserved, because that is going to be the mon that wins her the game. And of course, like, set it up in a nice position where Ludwig maybe has an opening where you can set up the Azumarill because it's not pressured, and then you can start sporing and getting the quiver dances up. But needs to probably heavy chip away the board here. So let's see how both players are going to do, because this is the final game, game 5. This is the one that'll take home the $1,000.
Okay, I have to think about this pretty deeply. Who I bring matters a lot here. How much? I almost think Chandelure is a mistake. I don't think I bring Chandelure.
I kind of like Chandelure, but
I think it's better to bring Rhyperior than it is Chandelure. Straight up.
damages the Azumarill more.
I think the Chandelure hit one Heat Wave, and I had one swap to block an Extreme Speed, which felt kind of cool, but Extreme Speed's not that damaging anyway.
The Decorate would have been really nice if you got into Decorate off instead.
Play. Because what did she start
or
with?
Preserved it.
She started with Lucario Dragonite. She did Glacial Lance and Sacred Sword, right? I mean, I could.
If you want to counter the lead, you do have a few different options. It's actually funny because Chandelure Darkrai is probably like the best counter lead if you expect the Lucario Dragonite lead again from Fuslie, because you can just go for Electro Web, Heat Wave and pressure that Lucario. And if like a Azumarill comes in, it actually takes a lot of damage to put in range of like Electro Web, Moongeist Beam, while the Dragonite can't really get a knockout into any of your Pokemon. So it's actually like pretty strong if you expect the same lead. If you're Fuslie, you might want to go with, I don't know, like you have your water types as a lead that can put on pressure, but you always got to watch out for the Darkrai, which is always the confusing part. So if it's like Lucario, Azumarill, like we saw in previous games, like that's probably like a good mid-ground lead. But if you expect, again, Lucario plus the Dragonite, I'd say probably Chandelure plus Darkrai is your best combo, because you can pressure the knockout into the Lucario immediately, and the Dragonite doesn't really do too much, and you can set up for like your own Dragonite or Primarina in the back potentially.
Start Rhyperior. I could straight up start Rhyperior Altaria.
I just don't like how that lead pressures. I mean, it did work out for him in the first game, but like it just like it puts you in such a weird position if like A, Fuslie leads one of the water types, or B, like even if you get a KO with Rhyperior, if Trick Room goes up, it's just, or not Trick Room goes up. If you can't get Trick Room up, it's just awkward, because like Rhyperior is their main sweeper under Trick Room probably, other than Prim of course, but it's like hard for Prim to sweep the team when you have stuff like a Bronzong and a Azumarill and like just bulky Pokemon in general.
That was kind of a good start when I did that. The Rhyperior Altaria fake out onto Lucario. Glacial Lance is about 30% to me. I hit Lucario with high horsepower. I get the Lucario out. But the Lucario is not the problem. The biggest issue for me on this team is making sure I have something to kill this Azumarill. And I think my best bet to kill Azumarill actually is my Rhyperior.
It does do the most damage.
Right? Like, that's why Chandelure is not valuable for me. I need to kill Azumarill at all costs.
Yeah, Moongeist Beam does a lot.
It only increases special defense. It does not increase actual defense. So Dragonite can't do shit. I think Dragonite's still worthwhile because I put up a Spore coverage. I don't even know if I need Dragonite.
You don't, but it makes
if I
life
just straight up
easier.
go-
Ludwig 7, Ludwig 7, Ludwig 7, Ludwig 7, Ludwig 7.
I kind of like a Darkrai. I could go Darkrai, Dragonite, Rhyperior, Prim. I think that's probably the play.
It's like fine. It's just you gotta watch out because Lucario becomes way more threatening with this combo. It's like very playable, but of course it's not like the easiest lines to pilot because the Darkrai probably takes a lot on the lead. And Azumarill mind games are always just kind of frustrating to deal with, but it's not terrible.
I think I need Altaria to set up Trick Room.
Yeah, I don't really like Altaria too much.
You still cooking a team or?
Yeah, genuinely, I'm fucking deep in thought. You don't even know, bro. I'm deep in my
I'm
fucking
thinking
brain.
about what I'm gonna spend the 1K on.
Disrespectful as shit.
Just lock in. You're
Lock in,
good.
twin. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna go with it.
Okay.
Azumarill off rip. So I'm kind of happy about my play then.
Yeah, probably one of the scariest. Actually, it's funny because if he did lead the Altaria Rhyperior, I mean, it's like, again, if Fuslie sees the Dragonite switch, he led the Rhyperior plus Altaria, then it like becomes 100% a lot harder for Ludwig. But this lead actually kind of, it's not the best lead, but you have positioning, right? You have Electroweb, you have Breaking Swipe, and you have Taunt. The problem is Fuslie has probably like pretty safe attacks across the board because none of these Pokemon are directed by knockouts. So for instance, you could double up the Darkrai with Draining Kiss plus Sacred Sword and be in a really bad spot, and you don't exactly have a good position because the Lucario's fast. If you don't Electroweb, like the Lucario is just going to get like attacks off before the Breaking Swipe. And also Sacred Sword, Draining Kiss, if you try to switch in like Primarina, you take so much damage that Thunder probably knocks you out afterward, especially since he summoned the Electric Terrain. So it's not exactly the prettiest position for Ludwig, I'd say. That's why I'm not like huge on this if you expect like a Azumarill plus the Lucario. I think Fuslie's best play is just to double the Darkrai with Draining Kiss plus Sacred Sword, because you can leave the Dragonite alone because it doesn't do anything right now. If you're Ludwig, I think you have to go for Electroweb, unfortunately, and probably Breaking Swipe. And then bring in like Prim afterward.
I think I just hit him with an Electroweb. I think I want to swap. I might need to taunt to stop this Tailwind.
That one's not really that big of a threat when you have Encore Darkrai.
I think I live one Breaking Swipe, don't I? Or excuse me, one Sacred Sword.
Only if you're Breaking Swipe because it ignores the defense boost again. You've only survived because of Breaking Swipe.
I think it's actually better. No, I actually think it's better to Electroweb Breaking Swipe.
Yep. I don't know why Dragonite came in.
I mean, that's all bonus that she switched in a Dragonite. I don't know why she did that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, I'm guessing, this is my guess, is Fuslie tried to call a taunt from the Dragonite into the Azumarill and decide, hey, I'm going to get some offensive pressure and bring in Dragonite. I don't really think that's worth it, though. I'd rather have doubled up the Darkrai if I was her, because these Pokemon, like, Electroweb is going to do some decent damage to Azumarill, but it's not like a KO, right? And I feel like if you get rid of the Darkrai, that's like massive because you can start setting up for later because you can do some pretty decent damage, KO the Darkrai. Then you can set up like a Thunder scenario into Primarina. Like, I think even though Azumarill takes a decent amount of damage, like I think it could definitely set up, and healthy Dragonite that could pivot around alongside whatever you have in the back is pretty ideal. the thing is, the Dragonite, even the next turn is awkward, right? Like extreme speed could be a roll on the Darkrai, and you just took an Electro breaking swipe here and then took another breaking swipe. So I kind of get like she probably went for a hard read, I'm assuming, because that's the only way I think it makes sense here. But the draw, like I think the risk reward was just not worth it here, because taunt wasn't guaranteed into the Azumarill slot, and like if like let's say a taunt goes into the Zumo, right, it's not even that bad because Sacred Sword just okos the Darkrai because there was no breaking swipe, right? So if that's the case, like even if you get taunted with Azumarill, it's still probably a pretty good position for you the next turn. So yeah, unfortunately just going to Dragonite just ends up taking a lot of damage on Fuslie's side, and now like Ludwig's just in a free position just to spam like attacks at this point.
And now I'm gonna swap into Prim, and I'm gonna breaking swipe again.
I don't like taking heavy damage on Prim, but I guess it's okay. You could go for Pollen Puff in the Darkrai.
Throw by her. I think she's sold. Huh?
I would probably just breaking swipe here again and probably encore the Lucario on a Sacred Sword so it can't Thunder, and then Primarina comes in and then claims KOs on the Lucario slot. That's what I would go for if I was him.
I think Primarina coming in on the left is good. Because Fairy resists fighting if she goes for a Sacred Sword. It'll also be post breaking swipe. So she'll be at half attack. And then the breaking swipe will also kill the Dragonite. I'm in a really good spot here. I'm in a really good spot to set up Trick Room. And if I set up Trick Room, I think I have a great chance of killing a Zumo.
I mean, I don't mind this because, again, as I said before, like preserving Darkrai generally is good. So to threaten the Encore on Azumarill, I think you could take a more offensive approach in this case because Fuslie has just taken so much damage at this point, and Primarina is in a great spot to get knockouts. So like, even if you don't set up like next turn, like Breaking Swipe KOs a Dragonite, or if Fuslie switches back to Azumarill, the Primarina comes in, you could just Moonblast with the Lucario slot, taunt the Azumarill, and then like, what's Azumarill doing? Like Draining Kiss? Like it's just not doing much. That's why I want to set up the Prim into a good spot. And like, I think that this play is okay though. It's just I don't really like Primarina taking too much damage and getting threatened by the Thunder the next turn because you still can't remove Lucario without Prim.
Love you.
Prim switches in, breaking swipe.
Breaking swipes out. It's going to kill the Dragonite. Half attack for Lucario. Sacred Sword on Prim, 13%. Now it's the freest Trick Room setup of all time, right?
Yeah, like unless Fuslie wanted to go for like a super risky Thunder into Darkrai, which would have KO'd the Darkrai unless Ludwig went for Pollen Puff, there was like not much she could really do. She probably like, she's just so far behind after like the turn one where it's just, you have to make super hard reads here, and it's like the commitments are difficult, and if Ludwig stays in and you miss Thunder, it's just a bad spot. So either way, it's just like she's put in like a corner at this point. Could she still win? Maybe, but it's just like really unlikely at this point because I think it probably depends on her back. She probably need, what does she even need? She'd probably need Kingdra into Dragon Dart's crit the Dragonite, because I don't know Dragon Darts would KO the Dragonite after the Intrepid Sword boost, as the darts would get redirected into Dragonite, and then maybe like Thunder crit or Para to Primarina, maybe. Like I think that's like the only hope I see. Like I guess you could double the Primarina too with Surging Strike's Thunder, because that would KO and the Dragonite still can't take a knockout, yet your Kingdra's pretty low, and then I think you lose to Darkrai back. So yeah, I think you would have to hope for like something to do with Thunder here.
Literally, what can she do to stop Trick Room? Like actually, what can she do?
You don't have to Trick Room, but it's
she's
fine.
Just gonna bring out Bronzong and just click the Aurora Veil, like that matters, which I think would be a mistake.
Azumarill comes in, makes sense.
Azumarill's interesting. Okay, so let's set up the trick.
I think if you're Fuslie, you have to go for Lucario Thunder and just hope something happens to the Prim. And I think I would Quiver Dance with the Azumarill here. I would just Quiver Dance with the Azumarill, because if Ludwig taunts, that's a turn wasted into taunting the Azumarill instead of like doing anything else with the Dragonite. I don't think Dynamax Cannon KOs Lucario without a crit. If you're Ludwig, your best play is probably just to taunt Azumarill or Pollen Puff your Primarina. Like, both plays are fine here. And it would probably be to, if you taunt the Azumarill, you Moonblast the Lucario here for sure, or you Steam Eruption, I guess, to cover for a Bronzong switch.
What will she do here? She might Quiver Dance. I'm just gonna taunt.
I mean, this is a pretty fair play.
She oh wait, okay, hold up. If she goes for a Thunder and a Draining Kiss,
It won't KO because Citrus Berry
kills Primarina.
Nah, Citrus Berry will say Primarina because it's Thunder into Draining Kiss.
Look, maybe I Pollen Puff.
You could.
It's not a lot of health to heal. Well, I should be fine with my Citrus Berry too.
Yeah, exactly.
Trick Room? I think my Citrus makes me fine. I'm gonna go with Taunt.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair play.
I could Pollen Puff, I just think it's probably unnecessary.
I think you just gotta watch out because Azumarill can set up under Trick Room under the right position if Primarina is weakened or paralyzed.
Lucario. Trick Room's kind of weird now.
It's not half speed, it's a 66%. Yep.
What if I just go for a kill on the Lucario?
I'd say that's pretty solid.
No, let's have the Trick Room.
Like, they're both fine realistically.
I'm taunting. Moonguy's Beam. She went for a Spore, which I kind of predicted.
I don't know from Fuslie's side if I would do that. Like, I don't see why the Dragonite's the threat. I mean, sure, it can taunt, but like, it still can't knock out Lucario. I think if I was Fuslie, I would probably Thunder to Prim anyway, because like at that point you have to. Like, Primarina's just too threatening at this point. You kind of had to go for the Thunder and the Prim and hope for something. Like, you could have, right? Like a Paralysis or a crit, especially with Electric Terrain, would have definitely done something. If you're reading like, hey, Ludwig is going to switch out, like, you could go for, at that point, go for the Steam Eruption double up. Like, out of anything, Sporing the Dragonite doesn't really accomplish much because the Dragonite's not really too threatening. Like, yeah, you're going to eventually have to probably try to get something into the Dragonite in order to start having Quiver Dances, but I think at this point, like, removing Primarina is probably step number one, and by going for Thunder Steam Eruption, you could cover, like, a Rhyperior switch, it would KO Chandelure, Darkrai goes down. Like, I think at that point, like, Quiver's fine, even as a play. Spore, it's like fine, but I think you had to Thunder the Primarina. The Moongeist Beam doesn't do much to Dragonite, and it's just a bit greedy at this point. Now I think Ludwig just sweeps under Trick Room.
Let's do Steam Eruption on Lucario.
That covers the Bronzong, so that's fine. If I was Ludwig, I'd probably just always like either Moonblast taunt the Lucario, or I would Steam Eruption taunt the Lucario, because it would KO the Lucario, and if like Fuslie switches out into like Bronzong, the taunt prevents the Bronzong from going for Follow Me or Aurora Veil, which is pretty big, and then you could just focus on hammering the Bronzong down, or just Moonblast the Azumarill. So I think both of those are fine. Like, Draining Kiss is not doing anything without a boost onto Dragonite, so you really don't care about the Draining Kisses at this point.
Let's also Pollen Puff Prim. I think it's a bit... It's a bit scary to bring in Rhyperior, but I have to bring in Rhyperior at some point.
You could hard switch Dragonite into Rhyperior too, which is also fair. Because that's on Fuslie to read the Rhyperior switch.
If she predicts a Rhyperior swap and uses Steam Eruption here, it's just so bad. But fairy is super effective, so almost assuredly she would go with a fairy move.
Like, I think this play is kind of fine. Like, Fuslie has to make so many plays in order to get this right.
Okay, she did. She could have gone for a nasty prediction there. Wow, the burn's kind of awesome. Oh my god, harvest. We have to kill this Azumarill at all costs. So the play is Moonblast. Well, hold up. Steam Eruption did 58%.
Yeah, so there's like quite a few things you can do here. It could be something like a high horsepower plus Moonblast that should KO the Azumarill. Even if Bronzong gets Aurora Veil, because Rhyperior is the fastest thing currently. So you get a high horsepower off before the Aurora Veil comes out, then you Moonblast KO the Azu, and I think that's a pretty fair trade here. You could also just go for like Earthquake, switch into Dragonite. You could go for high horsepower. Like there's a lot. Of course, like missing wouldn't be the greatest, so I think Earthquake could be the safest route. Like you could even Earthquake Moonblast. Like Primarina will live the Earthquake. You go for the Earthquake Moonblast. Azumarill just takes too much damage. It's just very unlikely for Fuslie to win. But yeah, I think like any of those lines work.
This is interesting. Here's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a Surf. In case she goes with Follow Me. Because then it would be a mistake. Because what I could do... Actually...
I wouldn't really Surf here. It's not really necessary.
If she goes for like a Follow Me play and I try to double target the Azumarill, then she'd get a kill on the Rhyperior, which would be bad. I think what I can do is just Surf. I think she's going to go Brain Dead. She's going to Steam Eruption the Rhyperior. I'm going to swap into Darkrai. I'm going to Surf, healing my own Darkrai and get a double heal. Check it out.
You don't KO the Bronzong. That's a problem, yeah.
I mean, that was mostly a flex, to be honest.
Yeah, because she got Aurora Veil up for free, so it's not like I think ideal. I mean, the Darkrai's healthy, the taunt wears off, you get a free Dragonite switch, but now she has room to actually predict, which is kind of annoying, and like the Pollen Puff is still on deck. I would have preferred just getting rid of Bronzong there with any attack like Earthquake, like even if you had to sack the Rhyperior. Because you're wasting your Trick Room turns now. There's a chance Lucario plays outside of Trick Room, and Lucario outside of Trick Room, especially if you set up Electric Train with Primarina weakened, is actually giving Fuslie an out here. So even though it kind of worked out for the turn, it wasn't the best option because now Fuslie actually has room to position.
Now, I'm going to go for a nasty play she won't see coming. We're going to Steam Eruption.
It won't KO Bronzong now because of the Aurora Veil.
We're going to Steam Eruption the Darkrai. I'm going to bring out Dragonite to repop Electric Surge. She's probably going to go for a Spore. Unfortunately, the Spore is going to hit.
I think if you're Fuslie, you kind of have to make a read here. I would probably Quiver Dance here and either follow me with Bronzong or just Pollen Puff. Because at this point, you're so far behind if you're Fuslie, you need a Azumarill set up. And I feel like the Dragonite switch for Electric Train's a little bit scripted. So I think you kind of need to start setting up here. Or you still strike the Primarina so you can put the Primarina into range of potential Thunder from Lucario. Which again, if you can get that Primarina into range of Thunder Lucario, the game is very winnable.
Let's just go for a Steamer. Oh, actually, hold up. Let's go for a Steam Eruption on Brawny. And then let's swap to Dragonite. I like that.
Let's see if Fuslie reads this. I feel like she needs to get these turns right. She has a chance of winning. It's just she needs to Quiver here.
Oh my god, I'm actually outplaying her so hard.
She hoped for like Ludwig throwing and not seeing the Dragonite, but like saving the Prim and keeping it healthy is just always like here. Now she wasted turns. I mean, maybe it's possible.
How good I am at this game. I'm outplaying her so hard. It's crazy how much I'm outplaying right now.
The car is still threatening. The car is going to be playing outside the trick room.
It's actually crazy.
If Fuslie wants to make an insane play here, you should swap out your Azumarill to go Lucario and Pollen Puff it. So Lucario's healthy, and like then you can Thunder the Primarina while dodging a Taunt on Azumarill, and then you could get like an Azumarill into position for Quiver Dances potentially. Or just like again, Draining Kiss and Force Play is from Ludwig's side. So I think that would probably be your best option here. Otherwise, maybe you could just Draining Kiss the Primarina, which also works. Put it in range of Thunder, once I said before, because it's still hard to remove Lucario. But I like the idea of getting the health on Lucario, because again, Darkrai's not threatening it with damage, and Dragonite isn't. So like she has outs, because Ludwig's kind of been kind of passive here for like a lot of time. Like he didn't really capitalize the Trick Room turn super well here.
Like, I wasn't sure if she was going to go for a Spore on the Darkrai or the Primarina, but I was sure she was going to Spore. But
yeah, the Dragonite plays safe.
To block the Spore on the Primarina is nasty work. Now, the question is, I don't know who moves first in Trick Room. I actually don't know the Azumarill speed. It's kind of weird. I'm worried the Azumarill... if the Azumarill moves first, it kind of sucks, because then she can get a Spore off on Dragonite. But I think that's fine.
Problem is Lucario's still actually very scary here. That's the problem with not bringing Chandelures. Lucario is actually such a big threat.
She took off the battle timer. You deadass just take off the battle timer?
Yes, yes.
You're the one who put it on, to be clear.
Yeah.
You're so PM. So you put it on when I move too slow. But when you move too slow, you turn it off.
Eons. You're taking eons. But okay, let me think.
Bro, there's another thing about I'm in your fucking brain and I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
Oh, the electric terrain swap to block the Spore.
Yeah, I know.
How about the dry skin swap?
You got lucky twice. Congratulations. Yes, you got lucky. Yes, you caught me when I was lacking, but not anymore.
All right. Hey, make your move then.
All right, meet up, please.
I'm turning on the fucking timer, by the way.
Can you please meet up? Thank you.
He can still win. He can still win.
Has a chance to win this game, to be clear. This Azumarill is a terrorist.
This is why you have to isolate the Azumarill quickly and KO the other slots if possible, or take the chance when you had this, you know, when you had the ability to knock it out earlier with high horsepower Moonblast.
I'm pretty sure. This kind of sucks. Oh, a Lucario swap. Quiver Dance. Okay, this is actually really good for me. This is actually really good for me. That was a horrible swap, I heard.
I actually agree with Ludwig, unfortunately for Fuslie, because Lucario was like your only way to beat the Primarina. If you lose the Lucario, you just lose here. I think she was probably hoping, like she probably read the taunt play into Steam Eruption and was just praying that the Lucario survived the attack so you could Thunder the Primarina. But I think I'd rather just sack the Bronzong there to be safe here, like guaranteed. Go for a Sunsteel Strike in the Prim for some damage to then put in range of the Thunder potentially. Unfortunately, this play just always loses Fuslie the game because now Azumarill cannot set up, cannot really Spore. The Draining Kisses are doing pretty pathetic damage. And now you get like +2 from Grenade because Ludwig just beats the Bronzong here with Steam Eruption. You only have like 2 turns of Veil. Moonblast will just spam, and like Ludwig will just out damage Fuslie's side, especially with like multiple Pokemon remaining. You also have Encore on the Darkrai, so game's probably checkmate here at this point. Like the Lucario just guaranteed.
I get a Grenade proc. She's now taunted.
Or losing Lucario guaranteed loses the game.
Yeah, I think this is a bad play by her.
Please just attack and don't Trick Room here. You have no reason to Trick Room. At least this turn. You can Trick Room the next turn if you want. I would probably just Surf if I was Ludwig. Like if I think optimal play here is to switch in right here. Here, go for Surf because you get a KO on Bronzong because you're +1 now. You KO your own Rhyperior, assuming she Draining Kisses, and then you get like +2 off that, so you'd be +3, and then you just nuke the Zoomer at that point. I mean, like, again, it's kind of hard to see here, but I think Steam Eruption and Pollen Puff. I don't like it into Zoomer because it doesn't accomplish anything. It just heals off the leftovers. At least Pollen Puff to Primarina and get the health back, because like every bit of health on Primarina technically does matter more than like the thing that's gonna heal from the leftovers.
I think I just fucking. I mean, I think I just win now.
You could also like double up the Bronzong with an attack plus Moonblast in case you don't want to risk a miss. But I mean, Surf also accomplishes that, so.
I guess it's probably in my best interest to Steam Eruption and then Pollen Puff my Primarina for max HP.
It's better than targeting the Zoomer with Pollen Puff. It does no damage.
Because if she goes for a hit on Primarina, I mean, it's fine to hit. I think either one's fine here. I could also go for a Trick Room, but
there's no reason to, at least this turn.
I guess I could just go for a Trick Room.
Trick Room doesn't do anything.
Trick Room and then go from there.
This turn at least.
I actually don't think it's worth Trick Rooming though. I think I should wait to Trick Room so then I can get a first turn ability from Darkrai. Let Darkrai sack swap to Draining Kiss and then swap to Rhyperior.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
good.
kill with Rhyperior and Trick Room. I think that's the play. So I'm going to kill Bronzong.
Because you can set up an Encore situation on a Zoomer. If it's left in a Draining Kiss, then you just spam attacks with Moonblast High Horsepower and you're good.
Taunt is active, right? Yeah, Taunt is active. Pollen Puff, if she targets Primarina, which she might here. Oh, I'm fastest. That's a bummer. I didn't know that.
I mean, it's still better. Like it like there's not much you could do to the Zoomer.
It is what
yeah.
it is. I think that's fine. I think it's fine there. And then I get the 2x. And now I want to keep Electric Terrain as an option, so I'm gonna Surf swap Darkrai.
I mean, it's fine. You still have Taunt as an option in the next turn anyway, so it's not even that big of a deal. Like, no matter what, as long as Ludwig actually keeps attacking the Primarina, you don't have to Surf here, but like you could just spam Moonblast, but it's fine since Aurora Veil's about to end regardless. Like a Fuslie at this point, as long as Ludwig actually keeps up the pressure and actually attacks here, he'll be fine.
Draining Kiss is gonna do a lot of damage here, but I think it's fine.
It is.
Aurora Veil's worn off. I think I go for Trick Room. And then she used Draining Kiss. So I'm going to hit her with an Encore.
You could just
Moonblast. The reason I hit her with an
but
Encore is so that
whatever.
I can swap Rhyperior.
Yeah, you can Moonblast switch now.
Now I can go with Moonblast, and then I can swap Rhyperior. I mean, unlucky that it's a crit, but it's all right. My Rocky Helmet actually does a lot of heavy lifting. Then I just Moonblast and win.
Yeah, at this point, like, it's game over.
I mean, the high horsepower probably kills.
So cringe.
GG!
Yeah, so at least Ludwig found the position in game 5. Game 4, he did isolate the Zoomer, but unfortunately, he didn't use his resources enough to like actually set up like a really good board state. In game 5, he had way more to work with, so he was willing. Although, again, he gave Fuslie a bunch of openings, right? Like, unfortunately for Fuslie, the turn 1, like, you should never switch into Dragonite. Like, even on a hard taunt commitment read, you're just better off attacking with Zoomer in that case if you're expecting to taunt realistically. Because you could double up KO the Darkrai, and the game's, like, a lot easier. But she was actually in a position to get back in the game. But unfortunately, like, there were several turns where she just got it wrong. For instance, the Spore into the Primarina as the Dragonite switched in. There were a lot of turns where she had to kind of play aggressive, and unfortunately it didn't work out. And Ludwig was giving her openings. Like, Ludwig did give her a bunch of openings. Could have been harder if like Ludwig actually just focused down the Bronzong slash Lucario slot earlier, because if he was able to do that, like I think Fuslie wouldn't have had a chance. But because Ludwig actually gave some openings where he didn't actually take knockouts in response, Fuslie did have position, but unfortunately just like losing the Lucario there was really bad for her. Like she just ended up being in such a tough spot after like losing Lucario there, because that was the only way to knock out Prim, and that pretty much just snowballed the game down. So yeah, interesting best of 5. I think overall, like, it was definitely some interesting mind games, especially from like the leads across the board. Like the Rhyperior Bring is definitely interesting. I think it's still pretty reasonable though. I think overall I do like Chandelure against the Lucario mode, but I mean it ended up working out. Like it ended up working out for Ludwig. He was able to position. Fuslie wasn't able to capitalize. I think she had the better lead in this game, but unfortunately like that turn 1, just she lost so much momentum. It made it super difficult. Wasn't able to make the hard read commitments and sacked the Lucario, unless she was hoping for a Steam Eruption dodge. But like, why risk Lucario at that point, right? Go for a Sunsteel Strike, get the damage into Prim, go for Thunder, get that KO and pray, right? Like I think if you did that, you actually had a decently reasonable chance to win the game. So yeah, that is the best of 5 set between Ludwig Fuslie. Definitely interesting. I would have loved to see this in tournament with time constraints, because both players did take a bunch of time to think. But of course, it's just always going to be a different environment from, again, playing at home versus playing in an actual tournament with like timer and in-game settings. And yeah, like Ludwig, I felt like was definitely playing more in his zone here. So yeah, that was the money match, the 1K Pokemon money match of Ludwig versus Fuslie. Again, I feel like the thing is that this match is very weird and it's very positional, because there's like several things for each player needs in order to actually set up, right? Like for Fuslie, it's setting up Azumarill into a good spot. Lucario is such a good mon here in this matchup. And for Ludwig, it's like you kind of have to dance around both the Lucario while making sure Azumarill doesn't get crazy set up. There's like a few ways to do it, but of course it's super difficult because like the mons on Fuslie's side don't exactly go down easily to any of Ludwig's Pokemon, right? And Trick Room is just weird because there is the Azumarill with the Spore Pressure alongside bulky Pokemon like that Bronzong, and that Lucario is just such a big threat. Unfortunately for Fuslie, she just ended up, I feel like, not capitalizing on some of the turns where she needed to go aggressive. I think also like her risk rewards were just not the greatest there, and I think it's just from evaluating like, okay, a hard read on that turn with the taunt on the turn 1, I assume, with the switch into Dragonite, but she was actually in a good spot even if Ludwig taunted. So like, assuming she stayed in and just attacked with Azumarill, and even if she had like, okay, a bad turn where like it's taunt on a Quiver Dance or Spore attempt, still not awful, because Lucario is still in a very good spot while Ludwig's Darkrai is heavily weakened. So it's just evaluating those kinds of board positions, and I think it's just something that these players, if they continue to like actually like play the game over time, it's something that they'll kind of recognize, because it's just about these trades, like something you just have to evaluate, and it takes time in order to have that. It's very different from just like general game plans, because it's not like you can easily sweep with each other's teams, because Fuslie's team doesn't exactly have the most offensive damage output, and Ludwig's team is pretty bulky, but against Fuslie's team that's defensive, you can't exactly take knockouts. The Trick Room is weird, so he doesn't have like a guaranteed like like a good opener. And yeah, like each player had to kind of adjust on the fly because of like how the matchup goes, because again, you're not getting knockouts, so it's more of a positional game. However, still really enjoyable watch. If you did enjoy this video of me reacting to Fuslie versus Ludwig, be sure to leave a like down below. It really does help out. You can check out the other reaction videos from the Invitational that I did. I think it's just really cool being able to check out the stance points between both players and actually get Ludwig's spots, because I don't think they were bad at all. It was just, again, I think I said this in one of his matches where it was like Ludwig versus Ranbu, which is sometimes when you have like off lines, it's kind of difficult. And he was having this kind of thing where it's like, okay, he kind of won the turn moment, but was it like something that really helped with the big picture of winning the game? And I think in some cases, like it was that, right? Like in game 4, he didn't really see the line of like, okay, how do I set up to guarantee, make sure I can beat the Azumarill when he was up like 3 Pokemon. And in this game he was kind of able to find it, but in this game 5 he also kind of missed steps in order to like isolate the Azumarill earlier, because he had so much good board positioning of like being able to set up Trick Room and then probably just punch through the right slot on Fuslie's side, but wasn't able to actually get it. And then Fuslie was able to set up Aurora Veil and then had a chance, like actually had a chance if she didn't sack the Lucario. So definitely very cool seeing from both sides. If any of the creators who have participated in the invitation are watching, again, feel free to hit me up if you do want to get better at VGC, and I will provide literally free tutoring. And all I ask, don't even have to shout me out, all I ask is that if you do enjoy competitive Pokemon, just tell your audience, because I love when people get into this game. I think it's a super sick game. And yeah, there were just definitely some moments where I think if either player kind of, again, they were messing up, but it's really in this case of like who messes up more. And I think Fuslie kind of messed up the really big parts, again with Lucario and the hard switch into Dragonite that lost her so much momentum. Those were the two big ones that just ended up losing her these sets. So yeah, should be interesting if Fuslie somehow watches this and wants me to analyze like her thought process, because I haven't watched it from Fuslie's side. That's something for sure, although Coach Flygon was in the chat during that time, so that is something. But yeah, again, make sure you watch the invitationals. Let me know what you think about the VGC React content, and I'll catch you around next time.